Hey, this is episode 185 of the Collector's Quest podcast. In this episode, we are looking back at the craziest year in video game collecting. You thought it was 2020. It was actually 2021. Who knows what is going to happen this year? The prices and trends of this year were like 2020, but doubled again. It was insane. So we're going to talk about it. The best stuff we did, talk about old Collector's Quest episodes, what we think's happening in 2022. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler here with Johnny and Stefan. It's the year-end extravaganza, guys!
Woo!
Whoa!
Yeah.
Happy New Year. It is December 23rd, and you know what that means. We're late to doing end-of-year stuff, because you do end-of-year stuff in like early December, because by this time, everyone's over it. End of year basically already happened, right?
No, it's, we'll be out like right on time. The year will be ending and this episode will go up and people will be like, oh, that's cool. The year is ending. Christmas has happened. And
I feel like we're on par for our normal release for this episode.
On par. We're certainly on par because we put it out right around New Year's. But I bet like every website has their game of the year out. And like, all right, at this point, all right, you've played every game. It's basically Christmas time. So everything had to be out by late November. But like the Game Awards, whenever that happened, not everything was out.
Yeah, well, that was ridiculous. But this is all like chasing the Black Friday when Black Friday was suddenly starting Wednesdays at like 3 a.m. It was just everybody's trying to beat everybody else. I'm not trying to beat anybody. Our content stands on its own, and I'm not worried about it being redundant.
The Spotify sent out your like, here's the shit you listened to this year. Like, hello, Spotify, the year's still going. What are you talking about? It's not like music isn't coming out and I'm not listening to music anymore. I don't even use Spotify. I'm complaining for no reason. But I just want to complain about something.
You complain about weird shit.
It's true. Like, I could have got that email on January 1, and it would still be, I wouldn't question that. I'd be like, oh, this is what I listened to this year. I wouldn't be like, why are they so late sending this to me? I would be like, wow, this was delivered exactly promptly. Instead, I'm like, why is this so early? Isn't there more time left? Are they skewing their stats? Do they hold a different year than I do? Also, I hate operating in different calendars because I have to do that at work. I'm like on a fiscal year calendar, the company, or the actual calendar, and then like a retail calendar. It's awful.
I have no fucking idea what Q4 is. Sometimes those manager types talk about that, and I Google it every time.
Q4, it depends when your company's fiscal year is. Unless they're talking about every the calendar year.
It's the fourth iteration of QAnon.
No, that's that.
I'm in. Are we talking about how I'm joining QAnon, guys? Man, I got boosted and it sucked. Don't get vaccinated. I'm gonna have to cut that.
So much easier to just be a science
Is that
denier.
really? You just come out being like, don't get, yeah.
Definitely get vaccinated. If the booster sucked that much, I bet getting COVID and dying is so much worse.
Tell us you're from North Carolina without telling us you're from North Carolina.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, that's politics I didn't want in the show, but all right. Here we are.
Hey, can
cool.
Can I
plan
talk
at least a day off after you get your booster, folks?
Can I talk about something that I did yesterday that has nothing to do with anything, but I liked it and I want to talk about it?
Sure. It's your show too.
Cool. So I went to Mystery Science Theater 3000 live last night, and I will say, if you were a fan of that show, that the live show is definitely worth going to. I had a whole lot of fun. It was probably the most like consistent piece of comedy from that property that I've ever experienced, because I think they like shop the jokes like as they go throughout the tour. So like the further in they go, the sort of more fine-tuned the show is. And I had a lot of fun, and I just wanted to say, if you have the opportunity to go see the live show, they're on tour right now, and it's worth going to.
I don't know who's in that show. Who actually hosts that?
So they have a girl named Emily who's doing like specifically for the touring show that she's the host for that.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. I would have just figured it's Joel or Mike because that's all I fucking know, Stefan.
So Joel is the executive producer of both the live show and the I was going to say Netflix show, but it's not on Netflix anymore. But the recurring seasons of the show. But so he'll pop in from time to time. Jonah Ray does the hosting for the show, like the television show, and he like it was in Los Angeles, obviously, so he popped in as like a guest star, but I don't think he doesn't tour with the show. But so yeah, they have a girl specifically that does things for that.
Immediately after I said that, I thought you were going to tell me, well, Tyler Joel's dead, so what do you think he's doing now? Because it's not like I keep up with what's going on in Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, no, he is the executive producer of all things Mystery Science Theater.
Johnny, Joel, or Mike?
Ooh. Was Mike the first host?
Oh my God, Joel's the first host. Mike replaced him.
Mike is the blonde. Host? Mike's the blonde.
Mike, okay. No, it's Joel for me all the way.
I think Mike did such a good job replacing Joel. I think he's maybe like equal. I enjoy all the episodes so much, but Mike being able to follow up Joel is really impressive. So maybe I'm just going to tilt it to Mike, even though they're pretty much the same to me. I wish I had a stronger opinion. I love having strong opinions.
I don't. That's the thing. Like it's all fine.
They're just so different. Like Joel has such a it's a more like slower, methodical delivery, where Mike is like more of like a zinger guy to me, right? He's and I think like the writing for the show was so different for the two of them that I don't know. I think I prefer the comedic style of Mike's writing more, but
we did it. That's our show, guys.
That's it. We've completely talked about it.
Yes.
We're done. We're out.
Well,
right?
Before you go, did anything happen this year? So let me actually start with the first thing on our list. How about that in Television Amico, guys?
Did it come out?
I seriously said, are we actually going to talk about this? Because I don't want to.
I'm bringing it up because Stefan doesn't want to talk about it. I wasn't actually going to talk about the Television Amico.
It's so it's non-news.
It was supposed to be out by now, I think, but that's a thing you could have said at like 100 points in history. I genuinely think if it had physical cartridges or any kind of physical media, it would be collectible in the future as like this obscure weird ass thing. But it's just going to die as like a plug and play toy because it's all digital. Untrue.
And I will cite you a weird console that was kind of mainstream and did have some carts and, you could use it as a comparison.
What?
The R-Zone. The R-Zone had carts, had huge properties, not at all collectible.
R-Zone, is it that obscure though? I mean, I feel like R-Zone was kind of popular. I remember wanting an R-Zone.
I don't want to waste all of our talk on R-Zone, but there are some collectible R-Zone games. Just
Panzer Dragoon.
I think the R-Zone probably just exited the popular consciousness rather quickly, right? So like maybe even though it was popular at the time, like I would hazard to guess that most people, if you were like, hey, you remember that R-Zone?
Don't spoil it. We have a So You Want to Collect R-Zone coming up.
Well, you literally just spoiled it, but okay. We might have been like the first people.
I don't want you to spoil the content of that show because there's not a lot to talk about.
Oh, okay.
So, we'll just tack it on to the end.
No, that's a real episode coming.
All right, Johnny, I'm out of my zingers. It's time to just hand over host control to you.
I don't want it.
All right.
You keep it.
I'm sorry, what the hell is number 2?
Pippity pop pop pop. The Wada Pop report came out and changed everything that we know about the video game market in that everyone was just kind of like, or, ooh, sealed games. And I don't feel like
everyone was right.
Everyone was right, yeah. So because everyone was right, no one changed their behavior. Maybe people spent. There were people who spent like more on like
you spent money on things.
Did I? Yes, I bought.
You went and
Round Ball
things.
Baby and Spelunker. 2 hits.
Dumb.
Did you get that that Jeopardy?
I did not get a Jeopardy. I might already have a Jeopardy. It just seems like a game that you would have, doesn't it? Right? You could imagine looking at your shelf and being like, yep, there's Jeopardy.
We spent a lot of time talking about Jeopardy last year on the at the end of year episode.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have to do it now?
Was that when you shamed me for collecting Alex Trebek's autograph?
You shamed yourself.
Oh, that's right. I did. That was my shameful purchase.
Yes.
FOMO buying a dead guy's autograph.
Yep. All right. Yeah, so the other thing about the pop report that it did was exactly what we said it would, and put things like only 2 in the pop, like in eBay listings and stuff, and on all the Facebook groups, which is exactly what I wanted to read as people like try to think of new and inventive ways to sell their garbage wares.
Yeah. And you could just get more and more specific with that variant and say only 0. But
Only
then you have to
one of
grade
these
some stupid thing
oval seals graded for golf power. It's only one in the pop.
I mean, it probably is. Golf power is probably not common. Johnny, speaking of sealed games, we saw like the highest game sell ever, like 4 times or something.
Never happened.
I think.
Yeah, we record-breaking prices every other week for like a month.
Yeah, so much that I like can't even remember how many times sealed games sold for ridiculous.
It was like
money.
Zelda, right? The first one was like Mario, but then like Zelda, was it like the weird second Prince Zelda that one?
No, so Zelda predated Mario by either like hours or like 1 day. I don't remember, but it like was completely overblown by Mario.
No,
64.
I mean the first record was Mario, right? That we were like judging it against was we were judging against the initial Mario sale for 100,000.
That was no longer the highest by the beginning of this year.
I don't remember
what the fuck it was.
Anyways, yeah, I know. We went Zelda and then Mario and like then Mario 64 just like came and took a big dump all over everything.
That sale was crazy too because like the one thing that I like almost immediately noticed is that like even like the conductors of the hype train like stopped and went, "Oh,
yeah. What? Well, there's
like
Wade is one conductor of the hype train, and he was like, "Oh yeah!" Oh man, I think
you know what I mean. Like
Zelda,
the folks the folks that were always like, like, oh yeah, all these prices totally make sense. Like all those people who were just like yeah, sky's the limit, and like even that crowd was just like, oh, what?
Like any other game, people would have been like more excited. It could have been fucking Gumshoe, and they'd been like, there's only one sticker sealed Gumshoe in the world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You could say, if there's only one of something, you just say that to any price. Like, I paid $1 billion for Gumshoe. Oh, there's only one. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
And the more forgotten, because it's not as funny as Mario 64 being the most collectible game on planet Earth, I believe there was a $2 million private sale for a 9.8 Hang Tab Mario sold by Rally to someone, I guess. Cool. All right. I mean, sealed hang tabs are rare. As the pop report proved, fuck your oval seals. And then the funny follow-up to this is that Otis had a fractional thing for like a sealed Mario 64, and it like clearly was not going to meet the goals after like obviously the sealed price of Mario 64 did not live up to $1.5 million, and they had to pull it for sale. Loved it.
Oh, can I mention something? Like, I know we do this later, but I'll mention something we got right.
What did we get right?
No, I'll save it. I'll save it.
Okay, save it.
I'll save it for later.
Yeah.
But,
why have a natural conversation?
Thing.
I mean, gotta leave it nice and structured.
So you want to talk about how bad the prices are that you put up here because they cannot be right?
Well, first, Johnny, let's talk about the biggest winners and losers in games from the year with our data, thanks to Game Value Now, brought to you by Go Collect.
Okay, but first,
the most accurate, up-to-date data.
Before you tell people that the average CIB price of a NES game is, I think you should think that $45 times 677 is 30,000, not anywhere near what the complete set would cost.
You're like fighting about the wrong. We're not even talking about this yet. But what are you talking about, Johnny? Since you're derailing the conversation I wanted to have.
Oh, I'm just saying you were talking. You just said. What we can't do the ups and downs because Game Value Now sucks, right?
Yes.
Okay, so move on to the next thing.
No, that's where I am right we have to explain what the fuck we're talking about because this wasn't in last year's podcast.
Okay, go ahead.
Game Value Now added like a market movers section to their website where they show you like trends in games. So you could like filter the data. The interface seems amazing. I could go to a time span of 1 year and I could look at what prices moved up the most in the past 1 year. Like, on paper, wow, look at all this information. That sounds awesome. So there's a bunch of like obvious like wrong stuff. And then the first real thing is like Power Blade for NES went from $93 to $400. And I'm like, wow, that is a point of data if Power Blade is now a $400 game. And so I click it, and there has been like either 0 or 1 sale in 2021, and it was like for $175. It was like the price of Power Blade. So I don't know how game value now works. The prices just seem wrong and made up, so we cannot track individual game prices. One day someone will figure this the fuck out.
We talked about this a little bit last time when they first put this thing on, and remember, like, the 6-month data was like was greater than the 1-year data in some areas for some reason in their accounts. We're like, So things are still going weird there.
Price charting is pretty fucked too. But
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Your price charting price says the average NES game is $45 right now compared to last year's $31. 45 times 677. What is that number?
I have no idea, because who cares?
$30,000. That's less than the price of a stadium event, which would definitely be in that data.
Well, maybe they already excluded stadium events or something, Johnny.
Even if they excluded stadium events, that wouldn't be correct. Okay, here.
I don't know where they get their numbers from. We just look at the magic graphs, Johnny. They feel right. They feel right.
Wrong. It's wrong. Don't look at those prices. The average price of you can assume that the average price of a NES game is like probably somewhere in the $80 to $100 range.
Johnny, when you do like very like intense basic arithmetic at Tyler like that, I just imagine you with like an old school adding machine, like
just an abacus, just like
ching, like with a big lever.
Yeah. I feel like I go in like I hit that teacher mode where everybody has been wrong in the class for like an hour and you just covered it, and you're like, why the fuck is everybody so wrong?
You're like breaking chalk on the chalkboard. Yeah.
You're like, am I failing them or are they failing me? I don't know where I am right now. Like on the spectrum. And then you like just start to like aggressively explain things to people. There's a lot of sharp pointing. Yeah. If there was like one of those sticks, I would be aggressively gesturing at the blackboard right now. For you kids who are still in school, that's your smart board that your teacher uses, has connected to a computer. I'm just kidding. Teachers are technophobes. They still use fucking blackboards. So they're the worst. Yeah. Don't start me on a teacher rant and like, because I get really mad about their technophobia and how it's holding back education. And how books are a huge scam, and how public domain is everything they work off of, but somehow still pay like $4,000 a school book. I don't know. Figure it out. Anyways, sorry to derail all that. I just didn't want to get into all these prices if they're all clearly wrong, Tyler.
All right. Maybe all the prices are clearly wrong because it's impossible to track the prices of games. So if we pretended that this was trending in the right direction, I think it makes sense what the data shows.
We'll say directionally accurate.
Sure, I think we've said that on this podcast before.
Yes, we have.
So,
as someone who works in statistics and bad data, sometimes you have to say these things.
NES went up about 50%, which fucking nuts for 1 year. SNES Complete in Box went up like a third, N64 and GameCube went up like a quarter, and then Wii U and Wii kind of ticked up just a little bit. Switch, dead flat, absolutely the same. So the older you go back, the more hot gains you saw on your asset investments. This was the single craziest year in video games, which is surprising because after 2020, you would have thought like, wow, nothing's going to top that. And then this somehow did. I remember thinking in February, like, I think things really started kicking off in like February. Like how are things going up again? It makes no sense. They already went up. How can they go up even more? But here we are.
Yeah, I mean, last year we speculated about the stimulus being there. Stefan, you came in and said you think with the last stimulus coming in, And I said maybe also with the taxes, we might see some more increases. But no, everything just still stayed on fire. But the fire of this year compared to 2021, it was on a shorter time frame. Because 2020 was like really an 8-month period where everything went insane. So all the changes seemed so much more dramatic, and they were bigger, right? It was a lot more volatile. It just was, everything became crazy. And 2021 was crazy, but that trend line was a little like less spiky. It just was consistently moving.
What? You look at any price. Well, look at these very real, directionally accurate price graphs, and all of them are like a spike straight up in 2021.
I know, but like compared to 2020, like it's a spike coming off. I'm saying it doesn't feel that way. Like all the prices ground out. Like PlayStation 2 came down a little bit and then trended back up. Like we saw a lot of regression, and then even at the end of last year, we were seeing regression in a lot of these prices. They were starting to tumble a little bit. Not down all the way, and even we said that, like, after you have a big spike, it's never going back to quote-unquote normal or good prices. It's just going to regress a little bit. And we started to see that, especially in disk-based systems. And then it stopped doing that and went the other way in this year, which is insane. I don't understand how everything is still going up. Like, 2021 was not a banger year for people's finances. Like, sure, there was some stimulus and some things happened and people gained some money, but everybody, like, in the whole world is experiencing the continuing supply chain crunch and the dramatic increase of the cost of living and, inflation. Like, inflation is real. The cost of gas in Southern California is $5 a gallon in some places. Which was weird, Stefan, because you know where we live, and it's about $5 a gallon here. And then I literally went into the mountains, nowhere, like harder to get gas. You would think it would be much worse, and it was like 50 cents cheaper. I'm like, I'm literally nowhere. How, like, we live kind of close to ports.
Maybe a supply thing?
Yeah, maybe just the demand, but I was just like, wow, like normally if you're like on the road and you're like middle of nowhere, they can jack those gas prices up, but that was not what was happening. In the city where there's 40 gas stations of my choosing, I was paying higher gas prices, which seemed crazy to me. Anyways, the point being, inflation has been crazy. Everything's been going up. The cost of living is going up, especially, in coastal areas. So what the F?
Well, I mean,
how are all these prices still going up?
Wouldn't you expect inflation to also increase the price of video games?
Not exactly, because it's a collectible, right? So that means people have to have expendable money to buy collectibles.
Or they put their investment money into physical assets as a hedge against inflation.
Possibly.
I don't know how markets work. What's inflation, Johnny? How come gold goes up in price when inflation happens? What causes that to happen?
This is not that podcast.
Okay.
We are not an economic podcast, not here to definitely explain the volatility of markets and how inflation works and what rises counter to inflation and because of inflation and like where people start parking their money and why stocks like we could get into it, but and while I have a firm grasp, not a teacher's grasp on that.
All right, Johnny, just a couple more fake data points here. Genesis CIB from 17 to 22. That was another huge spike in terms of percentage. TurboGrafx, for some reason you wanted me to put this. No one cares about TurboGrafx anymore. $88 to $109. Shout out to like Jeff Masser or Andrew Brim if they're listening to this because...
Well, they're not anymore because you just said that nobody cares.
Andrew will put us on in the background any day. PS1 $12 to $15 percentage wise. That's an enormous jump, 25%. PS2 $10 to $12. PS3 $11 to $13. PS3 games are more expensive than PS2 games. What the fuck is going on?
See, that's like all this data is wrong.
I know that's brought up by like weird collectible editions and stuff. But like, I know this data is wrong, but also I know it's based on something. And the price of an SNES game being $35 and N64 game being $33, maybe those aren't the real prices, but they're close. And goddamn, the
they aren't
SNES
close.
library is so much better than N64. N64 has so much goddamn wrestling and racing trash. How are they even comparable?
People like the N64 for reasons. Not good reasons. Nostalgia. I mean, nostalgia is a fine reason, but yeah, I don't think the numbers are actually that close. And I think Super Nintendo. Also, none of these things talk about condition. And yeah, I don't know. People like.
I think it's the same reason that it's always been. It's those kids have money now. Like it's that age bracket's turn, right? Like,
but NES
same reason why there's a whole generation of people who swear to God that the prequel trilogy in Star Wars is good, when it's not. It's trash
kids.
For trash people. And it's the same thing. I've always said N64 is a trash console for trash people, and
it's a garbage system for garbage people. That's a quote here from Collector's Quest. In an early episode with Kat, you can find me just dumping on the N64. Still doing it, guys. That's called consistency.
That's right, and appropriate that we would do it at our year end, just to make sure we get it in there one more time.
Still trash.
Yeah.
Everything that the N64 did has been done better somewhere else. Stop playing the N64.
If you took like a representative sample of like the world population and asked them what is the greatest system of all time, and they had to like back it up with reasons and data, you cannot tell me more people would pick N64 than Super Nintendo.
I think they
you can't
might.
I grew up with N64. It has Zelda. It's the best system ever. Remember GoldenEye?
Look, they would if they hadn't played any of the Super Nintendo titles, which a lot of them haven't.
Yeah, so I think you're in like a generational shift there, and there's also some acceptance thing. Like these were all kids who grew up with video games forever, their whole life. There was just like this kind of state of video games. Sure, Atari was there when I was, but like everybody wasn't playing video games at every age group, not en masse, right? Like at the N64 time, you had the people who had aged out of Nintendo into the Super Nintendo and the N64, they'd become adults. So now you have this swath of adult gamers, not just teenage gamers and kid gamers. So I just think the age groups were aligning there by the time the N64 hit. So you just have a different social perception of video games by the time the N64 comes out.
Johnny, you're getting me sad thinking about this because for some reason it makes me think about the fact that no one's ever going to play all these fucking old games. Like people watch old movies.
It's just like any media, right? Like, for instance, The Maltese Falcon is an excellent movie. Tyler, what do you think of The Maltese Falcon?
I don't fucking know.
It's great.
Exactly.
Humphrey Bogart, like they're just
exactly my point.
I think it's on my letterboxd.
You have not seen the film.
Yeah,
that's all.
Never seen the Maltese Falcon.
There's my point. Of course he hasn't. He's too young.
Do you know why I watched? I mean, I was too young for the Maltese Falcon. Just to put that into perspective.
I've watched a bunch of old movies. I'm just more into horror.
Yeah. Do you know why I saw the Maltese Falcon? Because it sounded a lot like the Millennium Falcon when I was a kid, so I wanted to see it. Your 5-year-old self was an idiot. Thanks, Tyler. Your 5-year-old you was stupid.
Hilarious.
You're like, yeah, I was like, what? I'm like, I wonder, like, dude, just kid brain. And I told my mom I wanted to watch it, and we fucking watched it.
When does this get good? Why isn't it in color?
I liked it. You got to remember, I'm the same kid who was like, oh, yeah, let's definitely watch Amadeus. Like, when we were renting. Yeah. Like on Betamax, I think. Yeah. When you had to like rent VCRs.
Let's sit down and watch Excalibur.
Dude, are you kidding me? Excalibur was on my like rotation as a kid.
It's like, so slow.
Dude,
so slow, Johnny.
I loved like that and Dragon Slayer. I thought was fucking great.
Dragon Slayer is good.
So like, and this is as a little kid, like, good. Yeah, I was like that and Conan, fucking Sword and Sorcery, anything. If it had a sword in it, count me in.
Tyler, how many of the movies that we just mentioned have you seen?
Oh, you're not talking about like fucking Criterion Collection all-time classic shit, so I have no idea. Dragon Slayer, that's a fucking PC 88 game. What are you talking about?
Anyway,
Yeah, probably based on the movie.
my point is that people who are outside the generation for a thing don't tend to go back and look at those things unless they have a specific reason to do so.
But it's a lot easier for me to go get the Blu-ray of the Maltese Falcon and watch it for an hour and a half than it would be for someone to play through like Final Fantasy.
Which is why I keep telling you that accessibility is important and why remasters and ports go
No, because there are also people who just won't play it because they're like, it's fucking old.
Yeah, there's always going to be those people. They're called kids and teenagers and shitty 20-somethings. They're just like,
they're called the current demographic.
Yeah, they're just, I remember being like 16 and being like, man, 40 is pretty old. It's like pretty old, guys. Like, can you believe how old 40 is? Like, when I hit 40, I think I'm hoping I'm dead by like 50 because you'll be so old. No, I was wrong. Like, you have no perspective. That's why being young is stupid. Being young is the worst.
Fuck being young.
Yeah.
Hurry up and die.
People oversell being young. There's definitely some good things, but every year in my life has pretty much been better. So I'm always like, yeah, let's keep doing this aging thing, I guess. So.
Is that what that's the decision you make every year? Let's just keep doing this aging thing.
Run it back. That's right. we hit my birthday on October 11th. I'm like, I think I'm going to run it back again. Let's do this again.
Not feeling this. Let's go back.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep this going. One more year. Every time. It's like, I feel like I'm on one of those, like, you just won a championship in some sport on the parade. And I'm telling the people out there, the fans, it's like, I'm going to do it again. One more year. We're going back to back. So, anyways.
Guys, I've totally seen Dragon Slayer. I'm looking it up.
Congratulations.
I don't even know. I must have been like 5 years old when we got this from Blockbuster.
Oh, you're idiot. Anyways, let's get more into the end of year stuff. What else do we got? End of year stuff. We fucking have digressed into realms unknown.
What were we even talking about? PS3
we
prices. Remember that PS3 shutdown panic? Was that this year? Because who the fuck cares anymore about that?
Yeah. We did a whole episode on that, and then they fixed it like a day later. That's cool.
I guess it might have impacted prices, but probably not any more than 2021 in general.
It did have an effect. PS3 prices jumped. That PS3 prices were moving.
All right, let's go to an individual game. Maybe we can get a better idea. Let's look at like Folklore. That's definitely one that jumped up, right?
Yep.
That's a $55. Wow. Okay, look at that spike. Okay. It went from, according to the fake data, $36 to $90 for like 2 months, and now it's back down to $55.
Which side are you on?
I'm on price charting.
Okay, I'm going to look at Game Value now and see what they say.
So, I believe this because price charting has multiple sales of Folklore every single day.
Okay.
So
I just want to compare.
Yeah, let's compare it.
Yeah. So they say that back in December, it was, December was about $30 last year and up to $72 this year. And they do have multiple sales listed.
All right. Well, there was definitely a bump and definitely came back down a lot. But also because the bump was way too fucking high. Considering, still, there are days where you'll see 7 copies of Folklore sell in a single day on eBay. Maybe not the rarest game ever that you need to panic and buy immediately, guys.
No, so, yeah, here's their spike. There's a big spike in June, so that's probably when they announced that the PS3 was dying, if I had to guess. Then it fell by July. There was a dip. It went from 72 to 66. But then as the rest of the year went on, Folklore climbed back in prices. Does your trend line look like that as well?
Not at all. The spike was in April through May, and then June and July it started coming down, and now there's a dip at the end of the year.
God, I hate our fucking data.
Data's so bad.
So bad. Why are we like this?
We should just do everything based on feelings from now on. Sure feels like Folklore went up doubled in price, and now it's it's a 1.5 what it used to be. It seems right.
My favorite kind of data, qualitative data. Yeah, qualitative data is great. Let's just keep moving with that. Let's just fucking lick our finger and stick it up and be like, which way is the wind blowing today? I think this way. Cool. That's what we feel today.
That's how most of the big purchases are being made.
All right, Johnny, here's my movie idea. It's going to be like Moneyball, except the guys that are working with like the real data in the end find out that the data they've been working with was actually being made up by all the old men in the boardroom who were just doing it based on feeling. Good twist.
It sounds like real life.
All right.
Don't like it. Yeah. Anyways, I can't talk about this kind of stuff, Tyler, without like, I feel anxiety and stress. This is like literally my job is like curbing these kinds of things from happening. People are like, well, I feel like, and the minute I'm in a meeting and somebody says, well, I feel, and I'm just like, stop. You're using I statements and feel statements because that's how you're supposed to approach a conversation, not to alienate people, but data doesn't give a shit about alienating people. So just say the facts. No more feelings. Stop it. The data is this. The data shows this. And that's it. No more feelings. Go feel when you move outside of the room. Go have a hug if you need a feeling. Stop with the data. Feeling bile rising up in my throat. Move on. Move me on, Tyler.
Stefan, what was the best and worst trend of 2021?
Oh, fuck.
I love it. He's move me on from something that's not going to make bile rise up in me, and then we go on to VHS collecting. Yeah, that was my answer. VHS collecting.
Yeah, this is a video game podcast, Stefan. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, video game collectors have done this. Y'all gross motherfuckers. Stop it.
Yeah, that is 100% the people who like sprung forth this hobby immediately.
These are really collectible.
I have not looked into like the actual origins of like who were the first people to start hyping VHS, so I don't actually know.
I will just say,
I'm just gonna say it's Josh Byerly because I know he's
listening.
I mean, Josh has been secretly hoarding thousands of sealed VHS tapes, waiting for his day, and I don't think he's just been waiting for it to come. And he's like, "It's here. I win."
I'm fine. Look, I'm fine.
I win. Finally, I win.
I'm fine if you guys are all out there buying VHS tapes and think that you're gonna make a mint. Cool, go do it. But don't act like this shit's collectible and you're like, VHS is really great. If you start talking to me about the warm sound you get from watching a VHS or something, I'm going to fucking throw up. I cannot handle all of your lies. You're all liars. Stop lying. Just be honest about it. You're like, yeah, I think these are like limited and I can capitalize on nostalgia, so I'm going to go out and sell it. But VHS sucks. It sucks so bad. It's one of the worst media formats ever mass produced. Yes, there are a lot of weird little ones, okay? But VHS tapes are awful. They're awful. You ruin a VHS tape by playing it, by rewinding it, by looking at it. Everything you do makes it worse. Stop it.
I would love to, and I haven't yet, but I would love to pick the brain of someone who was like one of the like diehard, quiet VHS collectors who've been doing it for years just because they love it, and then like
it's fine. Like, that guy's fine.
I feel like the what the fuck has to be like so like because like even like in games we got it too, right? Like the folks that have been collecting for a long time, and then this wave happened, and like we were all like, what the fuck? Like I can't imagine like the people of VHS because that was just like flat. Like it never there wasn't a slow incline. Like no one saw it coming. It was just like the next day. Oh shit, VHS is expensive now.
I bet they're fine because it's mainly sealed VHS. And like, I'm not talking to people, and we have a couple of listeners on the show who are like dedicated, big, huge rooms full of VHS tapes because they just...
Yeah, especially like the horror folks out there.
Yeah, and we always exclude the horror folks because that's like a weird its own thing. But there are some people who are just into it. I'm talking about the people who just like got into it and they're just like, oh no, I just love VHS and I've always wanted to do this for the last 3 months since I found out I could make money at it. Like that's the stuff they're not saying. Like those people, they can fuck right off. Like get out of here. Or be honest. Okay, be honest about it. Same with like anyone who got into the game club. A lot of these investors are like, I have always loved the video games. Those are the same people who think like Link is Zelda. It's the same. Those are the same people, and I cannot with that. I cannot.
It sounds like Johnny's jealous because he missed out on the next big thing.
Yeah. Oh shit! I missed again, guys, because I never could have capitalized on video game with my knowledge. Why didn't I go out there and take advantage of the suckers?
I think it's pretty good. I see no negative to it because there's a bunch of people maybe involved in hyping the video game market who are now looking at the next big thing, which means they think they can make more money by selling copies of Betamax Indiana Jones than they can continuing to hype Nintendo games. So you know what? I'm fucking here for it, Johnny. Good trend.
We made the joke on the show. We listed a bunch of VHSs that we said, oh yeah, like go get your Batman 89, your Indiana Jones. And then literally like 2 months later, that's all I see on the high end, like just like looking at their trend. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding right now? Is this for real? Is this real life?
There are people, so John, I don't know how you don't, I probably interact with more sealed VHS collectors than you, but there are people who have like dozens or more copies of like the Pokemon tape that has the first appearance of Charizard in the cartoon. Like there's some, you get some good stuff, Johnny. You just got to get something that you can market.
I just want to tell you that I'm like, if you want to laugh, go ahead and look at, high-end VHS on Instagram, and you will see all the things that I'm like losing my mind over. Also, the weirdest thing I've ever seen is like one of these cult movies that I didn't even know other people were aware of. Like I saw a graded Frankenhooker, which I just did not know could be a thing. Like, really? Frankenhooker? Which was like a cult movie I saw when I was like 16.
Oh,
and now like that thing is like that channel is now full of a bunch of, Gary V stuff talking about how great VHS is.
Okay. I just want two things. High-end VHS has 4,200 followers. Their last post got 26 likes. Like 100% they have fake followers, which is hilarious. I love when... is this run by the IGS guy who did the same exact thing? Probably.
Yeah.
He also, all this Gary V stuff, he took like a bunch of years old Gary V garage sale comments out of context, and he's like, Gary V thinks VHS is the next big thing, when Gary V's thing is he says everything is the next big thing, so he's always right sometimes.
So here's my favorite one. I was almost homeless before I found high-end VHS Instagram. Now I just put my first down payment on my house, making $25,000 a month.
Tyler, it makes me wonder if, like, because remember when I was casually hyping Pogs for a while? I wonder what would happen if I like legitimately like put effort into hyping Pogs. If like
you might. Do
you think we can make it happen?
No, VHS is like great because everybody had VHS. Not everybody had Pogs. VHS, like you have to find something more universal. Also, there was a bunch of Gary V talking about how VHS are basically just video games 10 years ago. So I wonder who those comments are for.
All right. Stefan, so fuck VHS. No offense. If you like VHS, it's great. I think they're cool if you buy them for $0.25 because they're chonky and nostalgic and all that. But they're not the real thing. The real movies came out in 35mm reels in theaters. That was the real fucking thing. Video games you get at home, those were the real thing. You know what else is the real thing, Stefan, is music that you bought on vinyl or CDs. You want the next big thing? Go speculate on sealed music, because how could it not be coming?
Yeah. VHS are the worst. Also, like, a lot of them are edited from their from their theatrical releases. They were like put into letterbox, or if they were in standard 4:3 ratios, just cutting the film. Like VHS is a disaster. You're just blech.
Sounds like
okay.
They also get moldy, I think. Anyway.
Yeah. Last year's big trend mold. This year's trend VHS. Sweet.
Let people enjoy things, Johnny.
They can't, like I said, the people who are just like in it for real, fine. But like the people are like, oh yes, I too am loving of the VHSs. Those people, fuck those people. Anyways, let's move on. What else do we got? NFTs maybe?
That was just like the other big trend, like that I feel like affected this community. Because like the thing that I think what I love most about the NFT fad is that like going back to like the the folks who are like conducting the hype train in sealed video games, the ones who are just like, sky's the limit, like those guys, they're like one side of their mouth, they're saying like, oh yeah, like these crazy prices for video games are fucking are that's fine. That's totally where it should be. Of course it's this high. And then out the other side of their mouth, they're like trashing NFTs as being like worthless, like, pump and dump scams, which like, come on, like it's a funny duality coming from like the same people.
Yeah. I mean, but that's all these markets are crazy. And this, like, I think the biggest trend we're actually seeing is people are trying to put their money and make money in alternate assets, right? Yeah. Which is a gross way of saying collectibles.
Not just money, Johnny,
and digital,
instant fucking 2x money.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Which is, and it's like working in a lot of cases. Yeah. And it seems like people are just expecting, like, I should be able to buy something and sell it in like a month for twice as much money.
Well, and like they're being paid off for it too. So we're playing this horrible dance of like, when does the music stop? Right. And like, who's left without a chair? I'm not interested in this like form of gambling that's happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
a cross section of folks will absolutely lose their shirt.
So
when the music stops, though, I don't even know if the music's stopping on any of this shit. I think VHS to the moon all year next year. I don't think that's stopping.
Maybe not. Who knows? We've shown we're bad at predictions, so don't trust us.
Well, man, maybe someone will hear that and be like, "Oh, Tyler thinks this is going to continue. Time to sell my VHS." No, because I think everyone in that community is like, no one even knows VHS exists. We're in so early, so.
And that's the thing. They do think that, and maybe they are, and that's the horror. Like, Tyler, you were on NFTs like pretty early. You should have gone harder.
On NFTs pretty early. What?
Yeah, like August, right? But NFTs have been going crazy lately.
I just bought the Atari NFTs because they were the first video game NFTs. So I have a full set of Atari NFTs, boys. If anyone's wondering, they're worth like $2 each, and I think they've even gone down since I bought them, so they're not worth anything.
But a picture of a sad donkey is somehow worth $500,000. Fuck me, I don't understand this world.
I mean, it's pretty sad donkey. You know what, Johnny? Johnny, it might actually... Yeah. I know people get a lot of shit for saying this, and it's a controversial thing to say, but have you considered money laundering?
I'll consider anything at this point, Tyler.
We did have the first video game NFT sell, like a physical video game attached to an NFT, guys. Is that cool? It was a complete in box Super Mario 3 Right Bros for like $20,000 or something.
Oh, that's the thing that was that Otis doing that, right? They like.
Yeah, they have some new
they
NFT
vaulted a game and then made a physical piece for it.
Yeah. It's called Otis House. How do all these companies come up with such bad names? So Otis, fucking named after an elevator company. You Google Otis House, it's a building in Boston, and you see the fancy URL, otis.house. That's the second Google result after the historicnewengland.org. So you're like, oh, they bought the weird URL, otis.house. No! Otis.house is the historic buildings URL. You can't even find this website. What the fuck?
It's like amateur hour on a lot of these naming things. I don't get it. Okay, here's a top. Worst name, Wada or Otis House?
I mean...
Well, only one is slightly racist.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, Otis House at least has that going for it. It's acceptable in 2021.
Sorry, guys. All right. Do we have any more best or worst trends, or should we start getting into the buying and purchasing of and what we did with it, best and worst?
I'll say, as my link between the two segments, best trend is that for like 2/3 of the year, I've still been able to skirt by and win virtually every auction that I've been going after because I'm going for stuff that should have relatively low demand. But I don't know, towards the end of this year, some weird PC and Japanese stuff, some people were bidding pretty fucking hard against me. So
I wonder if that's going to affect you next year. I look forward to your predictions.
Everything's going to shit.
All right. So, Stefan, let's go with you. What was your best purchase of 2021?
My my favorite and probably also my
Give me your
best.
best.
Sure. Were those Star Wars painted covers that I bought for that also appeared in Nintendo Power for Shadows of the Empire. So I have 3 of the 6 painted covers for the Shadows of the Empire Dark Horse comic. And
Pretty cool.
those pieces were also published in Nintendo Power magazine. So the thing with Star Wars art with Nintendo Power, and actually most game magazines that covered Star Wars stuff, is that they would tend to just use stills. Like the Star Wars posters are all stills. The one of the Star Wars covers is just like a still of Darth Vader. They just used film stills. And so Star Wars as a property, it's very difficult to find actual physical art from the magazine. And so when I realized that those were also published in the magazine and then they were available, I jumped at the chance. And so and they're beautiful. And I'm going to actually have them on display at the SoCal Retro Gaming Expo in February. So if you want to see those in person, then you can.
Yeah, I liked your choice of frames for those. Who's
Right?
it? Was the
Beautiful.
artist VTech on that, or was it someone else?
No, it
Or
was not.
VTich or whatever his name?
No.
Because that guy did like a bunch of like early Star Wars comic art around the same time. Not early Star Wars comic art, like the mid 90s, early 2000 revival of Star Wars, like Dark Empire and Heir to the Empire and stuff. That time frame. All right. Tyler, do you want to go best, or shall we let Stefan do his worst too?
I'll go best. Let's keep it positive here.
All right.
I mean, all my best stuff this year was basically not for sale stuff. So I guess the best thing I got, like in a literal sense, is my family boxing gold cart. Man, remember all the way back to when I got that?
Yeah.
It's a Famicom. It's a contest prize that they made 16 of for the winners of a family boxing tournament. I'm like, fuck family boxing. That game sucks. But there's only fucking 16 of them, so it's a super rare Nintendo contest cart, and I think that's cool. I mean, I got Yoshi no Cookie Kurapon Oven to Cookie, potentially the most expensive game I've ever bought. I think maybe it's tied with Outback Joey. Like, that's limited to 500 copies. It's like a Nintendo game limited to 500 copies. Got my New Leaf cart. I don't know how many people care about New Leaf, but I still care about New Leaf.
I'm with you.
Got V-Jump Chrono Trigger.
I want that.
Stefan wants that.
I know.
Give me a Ninja Gaiden 3 prototype.
No.
I got even my Nintendo Super System Super Mario World. Like, who even fucking thinks about that? But that's like a PCB numbered in the hundreds, and it's a technically complete in box weird copy of Super Mario World. So I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some pretty good purchases.
Do you want me to talk about my early release A2 FS1 though, Johnny?
No.
I would like you to talk about the best thing you actually got this year, which was probably that Waifu Uncovered.
Oh, yes, I got Strip Fighter for the Switch.
Yeah.
I hope it has co-op.
Well, if you haven't played it yet, you are missing out.
Sexy co-op.
All right. Let's see. What was my best purchases? Man, it's kind of a weird blend because I got like a lot of Castlevania stuff, but I don't remember the order in which it came. Like my best stuff, like really centered around like a lot of my Halloween stuff this year.
Shocker.
Like I didn't have
I'm
like
shocked.
one. Well, like I didn't have like one big purchase that was like a trophy piece or anything that was crazy. I'm like really happy with my Day of the Tentacle, triangle box.
Oh, I want that too. I didn't know. Did I know you got that? Oh man, I'm jealous.
Yeah, so like that's really cool. Like like I said, a lot of my Castlevanias are really. I'm really happy with all the like little Castlevania stuff I got. Like that's from like just Japanese versions, the Sharp version, like just a lot of weird stuff. So yeah, I don't have anything that's like my big like this is it. Like if I had to pick one thing, I think the Tentacle box last year was also a Halloween item. It was Poltergeist. Just things make me happy. Like I was really happy with that Alien that I got for the Atari, and finding that Ghoul Panic. That was like another one. That Fright Night. That was cool. Like there was just like some cool stuff. That Nightmare on Elm Street. I got like cool stuff. Like the best things I bought literally weren't games this year, I think. Like the best thing I probably got, and no one wants to hear me talk about Harry Potter anymore, but like the first print Harry Potter, first edition, soft cover, which was released at the same time as the hardcover, so like the UK edition. That's probably the best thing I got. Like true collectible, like, hey, this is like a thing, and I spent, a lot of money on it.
Is it autographed?
No.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, no, the like, despite what any Twitter followings might say, that autograph version is like still super expensive. Yeah, just autographs on any early stuff, despite what anyone feels personally, very valuable.
Doesn't one of the fractional share things has a UK paperback first edition? Oh, is it a hardcover?
300K or something?
Yeah, it's probably the hardcover. Yeah, hardcover.
$115,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like $100,000 item, and that's
the paperback was cheaper.
It was well, and that's the interesting thing about the paperback. The paperback and the hardcover came out at exactly the same time. So there's no, like, normally there's like, oh, we do the hardcover and then we do a paperback. That's not how Harry Potter rolled. So it is a true first, so
good job.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with it.
In that case, do you like normally come down to condition as to which one is more valuable? Like,
no, hardcover still always more expensive because they made more paperbacks than they did hardcovers. So
and most of those went to libraries, right? And got like, effed.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of paperbacks too, they just deteriorate. These things weren't made to last forever. So like, if you have one in any condition, like, congrats. Because, I mean, people don't think about it. They're like, oh, Harry Potter's still like a new thing. But I mean, it is 20 years old now, so.
Right.
I just want to say, I guessed, I just checked, like, I put in Otis Harry Potter to see if Otis was the one I was thinking of that has Harry Potter. Rally also has a Harry Potter in their system that they have fractional shares of. Do high-end collectibles, like, even exist? Do, like, people own these things, or is it all just, like, fake multiple groups of people that buy this stuff and push it up?
It comes to a point where your average collectors who are interested in that can't afford it anymore. So then I think those kind of people can capitalize it. So the ones that are actually in the hands of collectors probably got there before they reached those levels. And now they're at like levels that, those items are aspirational. So Otis can capitalize on that aspiration. And I said 20 years old. I think the movies are 20 years old. The books are about to be 25 years old. So, coming in 2022.
According to reserved investments, that's a super modern thing that no one's going to care about in 50 years, Johnny.
Harry Potter?
Yep.
Doesn't he also say to collect fucking books?
He sure does. I bet he would be happy.
That's a confused fucking
Potter
statement. I'm like, that's a confusing statement. All right.
It's not classic enough.
Not classic enough. Just one of the most sellingest books of all time ever.
That's what people say about Pokemon, and he's bearish on Pokemon.
Cool. Anyways, yeah, that guy's a fucking idiot still.
Stefan, you still watch Reserved Investments, right? It's hard to have a conversation with Johnny about a YouTube channel he's never watched.
Not nearly as consistently as I used to.
God damn it.
But, well, because I just can't, I can only listen to them say the same fucking thing so many times.
Oh, man.
I can't take that guy seriously. How does anyone take that guy seriously? Like, he has no sense of irony. That's the other thing. It's like completely lost on him sometimes. Like, it's no reflection.
It's also really weird that he starts every show talking about just getting back from the gym.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, I date high value women who carry Hermes Birkin bags, but I don't care because I'm educated in antiques and collect. He's hilarious. God damn, I love him.
No, there's no irony. You're laughing at someone, not with them.
No.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know. He's just some sweaty nerd trying to thirst trap over there, and I'm not for it.
Yeah. I would love for him to bring one of his high quality women on the show.
Also, who the fuck talks about anyone that they care about in any capacity?
Absolutely no one.
Like, they are not a fucking asset. They are human beings, you goddamn monster.
You know who talks about people like that? People who don't actually have high end women.
Sociopath.
He seems like a serial dater.
Oh God, gross. He's so gross. Anyways,
Serial masturbator, maybe.
Got him.
you did it.
Look, he seems like the kind of guy who all throughout high school had the girlfriend in Canada.
Is that still a thing?
He was
hey,
too
Moose.
busy learning about coins or something. Come on. Cut the man a break.
I like to throw it in to like every episode. If you've listened and you've identified all the times I've said, "Hey, Moose," good for you. Keep playing the game.
I saw some old people who related with your comments. Still have no idea what it's from. Thanks for no one for telling me what that is.
They did. We even told you on the show.
Oh, did you? I don't remember.
Hey, that's all you get.
Okay.
So yeah, you can't do that on television.
Oh, that's why I don't remember, because I don't know what the fuck that is.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to my earlier point.
There we go. So, Stefan, we've talked about your best purchase. Let's talk about your worst purchases. And I know you buy some dumbass shit, so let's hear it.
Yeah, how are we differentiating between worst and shameful and most shameful? Are those two different
worst,
things?
Worst is like, this was a buy that was like a mistake. Shame might be something you bought and you don't consider the purchase a mistake. You're just like, this is a thing I know I probably shouldn't have bought, but I bought it anyways.
I mean, worst purchase, like, I don't know. I bought a bunch of like cereal boxes and board games and shit like no one cares about. Like, like absolute like money wasters.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like my collection of cereal boxes and board games that seems to get inexplicably larger that I don't even like intend on doing. It's just like, oh, I just bought 5 cereal boxes. I didn't intend to do that.
Yeah, well, and that can be your worst purchase because that took money away from your ability to buy art if it comes
That's
up.
right. That's right. It's true.
So.
At least I've like mostly focused my cereal box purchasing on things that like have a Nintendo Power logo on them or like have a video game character or something. So it's not just like a box of Frosted Flakes.
I mean, worst can also be something that like didn't work out. Like last year was your stupid Laserdisc player.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah, but that wasn't a shameful purchase necessarily, but that was definitely the worst purchase that you had last year.
Yeah. Yeah. And I lost so many like hours of sweat equity to that stupid thing. Yep, for sure. But do you want me to go right into my most shameful? Because I actually know specifically what I feel like is my
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so there was this promotion in Nintendo Power Magazine where it basically at issue 50 and at issue 100 they had these deals where you could buy the entire back catalog for a single price, and so they would ship in a box and you'd get all 50 issues or all 100 issues, and so this guy pops up with issues 1 through 50 on eBay. And it is one of these purchases where he bought it in a box. He marketed them correctly and how they've never been opened, and I talked to him a little bit. He was like, yeah, I'm just like waiting on some like rich nerd to like sell his company, and then just like want to flip through every issue of Nintendo Power. This is seriously like the conversation he was having with me. So he ended up, he couldn't get the price that he wanted. He was asking, I think, $15,000 for 50 issues, which, if you know anything about Nintendo Power collecting, is a little bit aggressive. So I did end up buying a few single issues for like way more than I should, and just under like, because I had this like for a hot minute, I was thinking I was gonna like CGC grade the first 50 issues just like as something to do, just get high grade issues of the first 50 issues, and so I did end up buying like a few of those, and I felt gross paying like over $100 for like a single issue that like wasn't necessarily like of historical value. It was just that it was in really good condition, and honestly, like a lot of those books weren't in really good condition because they like rattled around the box and they weren't like separated or bagged in any way. And like the print on the early Nintendo Power magazines, especially on the cover, with the print will just rub off on your thumb if you rub on it. So like the books rubbing together was causing serious like face wear on the covers. So like, Not only did I overpay for these, but honestly, they weren't in like as great a condition as I really wanted them to be. So like, I still feel gross about that whole thing, and it was just like, bleh. So that is my most shameful purchase.
I seem to recall Stefan thinking graded Nintendo powers dumb as fuck.
Yeah, mostly I do.
I'm the opposite on that. I think graded Nintendo powers are cool.
It was literally something for me to do. Like that was like I just wanted a project for me to like build. And that, you know, that was the angle I was coming at it. The people that frustrate me are the folks who are like, "Oh my god, issue 1 is so rare," when they printed almost 4 million copies of that book. Those are the hype train folks are the people that annoy me on those. But,
fair enough.
But honestly, it's significantly. I think there's like on the CGC census on the CGC census. I think there's like 1 or 2 9.8 books in those first 50 issues. Like it's the just the way that they were constructed and printed. Like it's really difficult to find like really clean copies of that magazine.
Yeah, well, like because some were stapled, right, and then some were like glue bound square backs, which are impossible to keep nice.
Yeah. And again, like I said, the literally just keeping the ink on the covers because they would come to, you know, in your mailbox or on the magazine rack
and just get
already,
rounded
just because they've rubbed on other shit, rubbed on other pieces of mail, rubbed on other issues of the magazine. It's almost impossible to find covers that don't have some sort of wear.
And much like games of the era, like you were fucking reading them as a kid. And you didn't give a shit. You were like throwing that thing in your backpack and like
taking it to school.
Yeah, it's just like those things were being eaten alive. Like the nice ones, if they existed, were ones that like people got or like were old stock that just like sat and rotted. You know, that never got touched.
So I still actually might put it together, but it was just like the whole process, and the guy was kind of shitty, and like, anyway, it was just a gross experience, and that's how I usually judge shameful, as if it's just like I feel gross somehow by that experience.
That's fair. All right. Hey Tyler.
Heyo.
Hey Moose.
Thanks.
What was your worst and most shameful purchase? They could be the same thing too.
Johnny, I think I did really well this year. I think all my bad things were like really minor things. Like I got something, it's not good enough condition for me. I'm going to have to buy another one, but nothing to like really write home about. I went
You did it. That's a good year.
Really good year for me. Cause I mean, I think I've been more focused than ever. Cause I've you know, in basically every other previous year of collecting, I just had a fucking list of things. Like I got to go do it. I could go on eBay any day. I would have 200 different games I could buy. I would just look up all them and get like 10 deals one day. Let's just go buy some games. And I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm being a lot more selective with what I'm purchasing.
Good for you, Tyler.
So I went looking through some of my old purchases for something bad. I thought I found a bad deal. I got a super nice Model 1 Sega CD from Chase After the Right Price, famous YouTube man, and I paid $900 for that.
Holy shit.
I don't even know. This thing looks so good. I don't know how it survived in such nice condition. Like complete. It's got the strip around the games. It's got the plastic baggies. I looked up Model 1 Sega CD complete in box prices. There are like none of them on eBay, and the last one sold for like $850. So I guess I didn't do too bad on that. Johnny, the ZX Spectrum games that we bought in those black boxes. So I bought like 2 or 3 of them in plain black boxes, only to later find out that those just have a label that falls off. So now I need to buy them again. That's a pretty bad purchase.
I was going to say, that's like, that happened with my Hobbit, and I'm like pretty sad about that.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Wait, what happens? The labels just fall off?
Yeah, you know how the Claymates label falls off the Super Nintendo box?
Sure.
There's like a whole range of ZX Spectrum games that do that. And like there's like so many that I thought the regular packaging was a plain black box.
So I'm going to go for your worst purchase. I have my own take on it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Alone in the Dark was your worst purchase.
Oh, I had to get that. Come on. I have a complete Saturn set. I can't be like, you're missing the phone card for Alone in the Dark.
Yeah.
Like, I bought, like, 1 or 2 years ago, I bought a whole nother copy of Popful Mail just to get the stupid insert. Like, my Sega stuff I want complete as possible, especially the disc stuff, because it's not too big or too difficult.
Yeah. I'm teasing.
I know.
What do you got? No shameful purchase then either?
No, I've got
or
more
maybe
bad
just
ones,
like
Johnny.
your whole box of ZX Spectrum games.
Let me tell you about Braid, because I did extol Braid, a game that I know is sitting like dozens of copies in overstock warehouses. How do I know this? Because I bought it like 4 times this year. So they're like $10-15 shipped. And so I kept buying single copies, and they kept coming, and they kept being like wrecked. Like they would ship in a bubble mailer, or they would send me one that's like kind of fucked up. And then so like the 4th time I bought it, I bought like 5 copies at once. And the guy's like, I've got like shitload more of these if you want to buy more than that. And I'm like, no, I understand this isn't for collectors. You say it's going to be some shitty overstock thing. I'm just buying a bunch of them to force you to ship it in a box, and I will take the nicest one out of the thing. And the guy shipped it in a big bubble mailer, but you know what? The ones in the middle were good enough for my collection. Bad purchase. I'm like, yeah, Braid, you can go get that for $12. And I bought like 7 copies of it.
I'm sorry, Tower. I still need a copy. Save one for me. Save your most medium one for me.
Sure. All right, shameful purchases. Johnny, I bought Spelunker and Roundball for basically no reason. I'm not completing the complete in-box NES set. It wasn't even FOMO. It was like an obligation, like, oh, I've got this data. Let's do something with it.
Sorry, was the Snake phone this year?
No, that was last year, and you already gave me shit for it. Yeah. Oh, that would have been in my best purchases, believe me.
No.
Good stuff. I'm still looking for more variants of that Snake phone, by the way. I literally check my save searches all the time.
He's looking for the European one because that's the true first print.
See, Johnny listened to the episode.
Yeah. That Nokia whatever true first print of Snake, because Nokia is a European company. Am I quoting you right?
I've also got a save search for the Hagenut MT2000, the Siemens S1, and an IBM
Hold on.
Simon.
Did you just say Hagenut and Siemens in the same?
Hagenut. How do you pronounce that?
Hagenut and Siemens?
Hagenut?
No, it's definitely Hagenut.
Yeah. Hogging nuts for that semen.
Oh my God.
Such a juvenile joke. I'm sorry.
No.
God damn. Just end the podcast.
Best joke of the year.
Oh man, that's going to be my most shameful purchase. Just buying into that whole joke.
Oh, I'm winning on shameful, Johnny, because I bought a Star Wars VHS tape. First print, I think I didn't really look.
Is it the CBS?
Really
is it the CBS?
Oh, it's
Silvers?
CBS, and you got to have like a barcode on the bottom. And got it like one of these tapes has like a different color flap for like the magnetic thing, like, you know, the flap that goes up on a tape. I don't know. I bought what I think are the first or like pretty early copies of Star Wars, the trilogy on VHS, because I enjoy having shitty collectibles. I have a small collection of things that are not very collectible, but some version of them has an air of collectability.
I was going to get into if you bought anything non-video game collectible, and Stefan, non-video game adjacent collectible. But any more shameful purchases you want to?
No, everything I buy is amazing.
You want to self-flatulate over here, or just? All right.
Say self-flatulate?
Yeah.
Is that a joke?
Doesn't everyone self-flatulate?
That's not what I meant to, like, I got the word wrong. It's not flatulate. It's, oh God, I can never say the fucking word. Basically to flog oneself. To
flagellate. Yeah. Flatulate.
Not,
I thought maybe you're going
flatulent.
For I thought maybe you're going for a fillet.
No, and not as into, orally service either. I meant as into beat oneself over the back, or in that way. I just didn't speak well. Sorry. All right, I'll tell you my worst purchase and most shameful. I'm not sure which order these should even go in. Okay, so my worst purchase was probably like 4 copies of Fantastic Four for across like multiple systems, maybe 5 now. Like across the PS2, Xbox 360, because I wanted variations of this stupid fucking comic that is in the Fantastic Four, because I get like OCD and weird about that. I'm like, I want all these variants for this dumb comic, and then I want to see how they're different. So I bought more copies, much like you were buying multiple copies of things. That's my worst purchase, because I spent like probably $50 or $60 on like Fantastic Fours that no one gives a shit about.
Never change, John. Never chase those market trends. Just do your own
never
fucking thing over there. Whatever you've been doing for 20 years.
I never chasing market trends. Never, ever. Yeah, like I even have an Instagram picture that doesn't even show all of them. It's just like, I got the PS2 one, the Xbox 360, like not shown are the Wii, the DS, and like the PS3 version. Just awful purchase. But my most shameful, and also like I would consider worst, this was a weird one, because it's not actually a purchase because it didn't go through, and I don't know what happened. Same kind of thing though. So I was buying a lot of Star Wars games because they had these discs in them, right? These like little collectible, almost like a card game disc, right? Mm. And
were they Pogs?
They're very Pog-esque, right? And they come with exclusive characters, and
I'm in.
They come in different colors. So like there's a red, a black, a gold. Like there was a bunch of these things, and I went after them pretty hard. So there was one seller, and I just was like, it was around the first of the year. So this was like early 2021. This is January time frame. And I, like I said, I went hard, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out in such a way that I can't even tell you, because I bought, well, I want to get to the eBay auctions so I can see, because it also takes up a page and a half of my auctions, because I bought so many.
Yeah.
Like if you look at your eBay purchase, it's a page and a half of them, and I'm trying to get there. And they are connections. When it's got one of my favorite conventions in there, instead of spelling connection like a normal person, it's got an X, so it's CONNEXIONS. So there were these,
just so you know, it's discs from the 90s.
Yeah, except it's not. It's from the 2010s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
You know?
I would expect for it to say Unleashed. Although that was actually a Star Wars line, right?
It was. Those were figures, and they were pretty cool, actually, for their time. Anyways, yeah, so I bought a bunch of these. I spent, like, I don't know, $180. I'm like, I'm just getting the set. I'm getting all the variations, and then, like, one day in time when someone's like, how would you have got all these things? Because they only came in, like, one game, and, you randomly got a copy in the game. So it was just a random that you would even get it, right? And, like, there's only 3 characters, I think, and I think it's Kylo and Finn and Daisy, and they're all like their Lego versions. And then, like I said, multiple colors. I forget. I think I talked about it on the show, and like I did the math on how many different discs there were. But yeah, I bought a lot, like well over $100 worth. Like some, like the rarest ones, I was paying like $12 for something. I'm like, I'm just gonna get all of them, and it was like all one seller, and yeah, he, for some reason, never completed the sale at all. I don't know if they died or what. And the annoying thing is, when I had to go for a refund, because it was like 30 different auctions, I had to go and like request a refund for each individual auction, because it was not a lot. So it was a lot of time researching, a lot of time wasted. Also not a good buy. It was just my OCD, like in overdrive one night. And these are like purchases I'm making while having insomnia, and it's like 3 a.m. and my brain starts like really spinning up. So, yeah, just like exhibiting some of my worst behaviors, and, best and worst purchases and most shameful. But now we're going into something. I'm going to jump us. You have best and worst game played, but I want to do something else, and I want to do it live on the show. Guys, will you please open up your eBay for me?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll just like look at purchasing habits real quick. So I would like you to go to, purchases, on your My eBay tab under purchase history.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I would like you to change the setting from see orders from 60 days, that's over on the right, and change it to 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like you to go to the bottom, and it's not all the way at the bottom because it like separates once you hit like canceled items. Go to the pages, and then make sure you go to all the way to the last page.
Okay.
So it'll say like 5 or 6, but you have to keep clicking. Sometimes there are many more behind it. So keep clicking until you find it. I would like to hear how many pages of eBay purchases you have for the year 2021.
5.
Oh, you think you think it goes past 5 and 6? I don't know.
Nope. I top out at 5.
Okay.
You top out at 5. All right. Tyler.
Well, we're gonna find out when I get there, won't we?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I will tell you my number.
Okay.
And I actually have my numbers for the last 3 years. So if you guys want to look at yours, I will tell you that in 2019, I had 13.
I have 20.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you're giving the last year number. Okay, what's your current year
Yeah, I have
number?
2019 and 2020 was 18.
Yeah.
In 2021, I really cut back. I was still at 14. Now, mind you, a page and a half of those are the stupid Star Wars discs that don't actually exist, so remove that. And then I've got like 3 pages of books I had to buy for my wife. So this is like actually the lowest actual like game count I've had in a long time, because I'm at like 9 pages. And then if you count all the dumb comics, and because I bought a lot of non-video game collectibles this year, I think I'm at like 7 or 8 pages for this year, which is my lowest number by, a wide margin.
2019 was 8 pages for me. 2020 was 10 pages. And then this year was 5 pages.
Yeah. Like 2018, I was completing PS1. So that's like where a lot of those pages came from.
Also, I believe it's 25 items per page, so
Yeah.
that gives you some idea of how many things.
Yeah. I just thought that's like a funny metric to look at. Like, how many things did you buy?
Johnny, I might have bought... No, I didn't buy more stuff overseas, but I bought a significant amount of stuff from Japan and the UK, so... Oh, I bought a lot of stuff this year. I mean, I'm looking through these pages like, man, I was buying like NES inserts and stamps. Like, these aren't all games. Like, one of them is a lot of 10 epilepsy inserts for Nintendo games. Like, do I care about Complete in Box NES that much? No, but I'm like, fuck, I might want those epilepsy inserts one day.
You
Just
sure
in case
might.
you're epileptic.
Exactly.
Epileptic.
I just bailed out of that word.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm done here. Never mind.
Peace.
Anyways, now we can go on to more of a player's topic. Guys, what was the best game you played this year? I know you put it on here. I didn't. But we do talk about what we played, and what we
do.
So, what did you? What was the best game you played this year?
Guardians of the Galaxy, by far. It was... Okay, I won't say that it was the best game that I've played, but it's the most fun that I've had with a game in recent memory.
Well, you play WoW, so you're never having any fun.
That's true. Yes, life is a chore. But yeah, I love that game a lot. It's a third-person action, sort of RPG light. Third-person action game with light RPG elements. And I love that they didn't try to go, without any spoilers, they didn't try to go like discount MCU. Like a lot of times when you get like a Marvel game and they don't get the MCU license, it's like, no, that's clearly supposed to be Robert Downey Jr., but like we're just going to like phone it in and give you discount Robert Downey Jr. They didn't do that with Guardians. They actually just like swung for the fences and like created essentially a new iteration of the Guardians for this game, and they put a lot of love into the script, and I'm really, really happy with where that game netted out. So yeah, super recommend it. Love that game.
Nice. Okay. Any worst games you played besides WoW?
I'm not going to say worst game, but like a game that like I wasn't into, like I'm sure other people love it, was Tribes of Midgar. It just wasn't particularly my cup of tea. It's like one of those, I don't even know what they're called. Like it's like a glorified tower defense sort of game where you're like building up your village, and then it's a day-night cycle, and then like the monsters come at night and you have to defend, and then it's an attrition game like that. I started playing it with a bunch of coworkers, and like they were super into it, and it's almost like it's almost like worse when you're playing with people who are super into a game and you're not really into it, because it's just like makes you feel like you're not understanding something, you're not getting it, and like you want to be as pumped as like the people you're playing with.
You're like, but I don't know why you guys like this.
Yeah, I similarly, I felt that way. Like I do like Among Us quite a bit, but like the people that I have played Among Us with really like Among Us, and like so. Yeah, that's another game where it was just like, yeah, okay, it's fine, like good, cool. But yeah,
Stefan's not invited to the next game of Among Us.
Okay, yeah, definitely not. Not with that attitude.
Do you guys really like Among Us?
I really like Among Us.
I like Among Us, but I don't really.
Yeah, it's fine. Like it's fine. It's fine. So there you go.
Tyler, what about you?
Of the games I beat, Johnny, the best game I played was Diablo 2 Resurrected, which is a game I've already played for hundreds of hours. But I think I have wrist issues now, so it's awesome that I can play a game that's all nothing but clicky click click with a controller, because it's basically the only way I can play it now. It's crazy to go back to this game, which is basically like the perfect computer RPG, and for the first time see all the cracks at the seams and be like, huh, this isn't as good as Path of Exile. Because I mean, maybe it's just because I know the game like the back of my hand, but like I can make all these rune words where it's like, oh, I know all the best stuff to make, so basically everything I pick up is garbage. Am I having fun? I don't know. It's the best game I played.
Best game. I love it. He's like, best game I played. Am I having fun? I don't know.
You know, another game I played, like Overcooked 2, like super well-made game. Like every level is different. It's amazing. Like they don't have a ton of levels, but every level, new gimmick in some way. But you play this game, and the whole point of the game is that you can never get into a flow. It doesn't want you to get into a flow. It wants you to be stressed out all the time. So it's challenging, but like, am I having fun? This game does nothing but stress me out and make me argue with who I'm playing with. I don't know how to separate, like, wow, this game is very well made from, am I having fun playing it? Also, Wasteland 3, I guess, is the best game I've played that isn't a game I've played a million times before, which is like, it's a pretty good game. It's not like amazing. I don't know why they don't make more games like that. Where are the co-op RPGs? Just make co-op RPGs. I need stuff to play with my wife. We love co-op RPGs. Where the fuck is this genre? I know Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out, but...
Is that not out? Baldur's Gate 3?
It's in like early access. Like, I don't want to play an early access RPG. Just give me the full game. Come on.
Stefan, did you not play Psychonauts 2?
I have not yet.
Okay.
No. I don't particularly want to play it on the PC, and so I've been sort of holding out until I eventually get an Xbox.
Yeah, I have not played it yet because I haven't had time. I did get an Xbox, so I want to play it, but I still haven't even got through Metroid yet.
Yeah, that's me neither, actually.
Tyler, what's the worst thing you played?
Oh, D-Force. 100%. Oh my god. Like,
wow, that was quick.
If you guys haven't played D-Force on Super Nintendo, you know, you've been digging through the bargain bins and you come across D-Force all the time and you're like, this looks like a shooter and it's only $6? What? How could a shooter on the beloved Super Nintendo be $6? And it is just the most incompetently made in every way shooter. It like has no frame rate. It has the hitboxes don't make any sense. It's horrible. It barely functions as a game.
Wow.
Yeah, it is the worst shooter I have ever played. I've played a bunch of Atari shooters, and they're all just like Space Invaders and Phoenix clones, but this is way worse than Atari shooters.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely didn't expect that. Such a strong response.
Oh my god, D-Force. It's unacceptable. The audio clips. How do you make a game on a console? It has dedicated hardware and the audio clips. What? You have you're the person programming the sound. How does that happen?
So there's only like 3 Let's Plays on YouTube for this game.
People are just like, nah, nah. No thanks.
I believe so. I like after playing this, I immediately went to Google it. I'm like, do people know? Like, do people know about D-Force? And I went looking up the Shmups forum, System 11 for like worst shooters ever made, and D-Force appeared in there a good few times. And those guys have deep cuts, so I think it is a very solid pick for the worst shooter of all time.
Ooh, all time! Wow, dude, that's. I didn't expect that your worst game might also be in a category of worst ever.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. All right. I would like to say worst game I played. Just a spoiler alert, there's not I didn't play enough for there to be a worst one. Especially since when I played, I was like, I'm just going to go play games I like. That really limits. I mean, I guess, man, I can't even think of one that would be the worst, which is very sad.
While you're thinking, Johnny, can I share this comment about D-Force on YouTube?
Please.
Of the 5 shmups that the SNES had by Christmas 1991, receiving this one as a gift would have sent pretty strong signals about what Santa thought of your behavior. Sorry, that was good.
Yeah, no problem. All right. I'll go, best is hard. A lot of people don't like Last of Us 2. I really love The Last of Us. And I replayed The Last of Us. So that's probably the best game I played this year because it's one of my favorite games. But if we're saying that doesn't count, people forget Last of Us 2 was this year. So yeah, I really liked Last of Us 2 because it was more Last of Us.
Wait,
a little
Last of Us 2
Last of Us TOO.
Yeah, right?
That's almost definitely wrong, Johnny. What are you talking about?
Is it?
The Last of Us 2 came out last year. I know it feels like the same year, but
it does
totally
feel like
wrong.
I thought it was. Was it really?
John, so let me tell you why I know this. It's
2020.
because the game of the year this year at the Game Awards, I think, was It Takes Two, because there was nothing like super headliney flashy that it was competing with. It was competing with like Deathloop. You know what?
Man.
You know what? I have not played It Takes Two. I already bought it in the Steam sale. I've not played Deathloop. I feel confident in saying like The Last of Us 2 might have put up a competition against those games just based on the little I know about them.
June 19th, 2020.
Yeah, it was last year. Holy shit.
Man,
I really thought that was this year. Huh. Well, that puts a wrinkle in things. You know what? The Castlevania collection, Advanced Collection for the Switch that they released. That was the best thing I played. Sorry.
Was it the limited run one?
No, that's not the limited run. That's finally being able to play the GBA Castlevanias, not on a GBA. So that's why.
Cool.
Great. Loved doing it. Played, I didn't play Aria yet, but I have played Circle of the Moon all the way through. And, oh God, forgetting the other one all of a sudden. Wow. Brain went dead. What was the other? It's Aria of Sorrow, Circle of the Moon, and...
Portrait of Ruin? No.
God, what the hell is it? That's very sad. My brain just completely failed me.
Harmony of Dissonance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Yeah. Circle of the Moon. Also, just so you guys know, that was the first one. People gave that, it's like more simplistic than the other ones. People give it a lot of flack, and I remember thinking I was disappointed the first time I played it. When I replayed it, I was totally not disappointed. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah. So, yeah, good stuff.
I think I played that game on a cruise ship.
good time to play video games.
Yeah.
I played it at Carly's aunt's house, where we were forced to go for Christmas for like 3 days back when that game was still relevant. So, yeah. Anyways.
So two of our best games are just old fucking games. What was that, Stefan? What was your best? Was it Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, it's a brand new game.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying Metroid, but I haven't played it enough to say, I feel like I should beat it before or at least get more than 20 hours into it. Or that's not even going to take 20 hours to beat it, so maybe that's wrong.
I've
only got like 6 hours into it, so I feel like I can't say. I'm really loving it. It's Metroid. It's Metroid in a very good way. The controls are really responsive. So I'm like, it's like almost too fluid that it feels a little fakey sometimes. So I'm just like, wow, it's like really fluid. The Emmys or whatever they're called, those are kind of annoying. So it's like those kind of like were a little mental hurdle for me because they're just like a different kind of enemy than you faced in other Metroids, which is, it's like, wow, that's like really different. I don't know. I'm really enjoying that game. Like I said, I just don't feel like I've done enough with it to say best, but like, who knows? Hopefully by the end of this Christmas season, I'll be able to append that statement and say, yeah, definitely the best thing I played. Sorry. Like, games I played this year.
Either, so I can't say anything to you, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm just, well, like, for not having new stuff, like, what did I go and play? I, like, replayed Jedi Fallen Order and Last of Us. That's what, like, those were my biggest games. I just, like, have been playing comfort games. Kind of sad.
Either you get the analog pocket thing.
I tried to get it the first time, and then this time they said, they put out the statement, it's like, if you're too slow, you'll be waiting until 2023. And I'm just like, fuck it, I'll buy it in 2023. Like, it's not something, like, if it was a Nintendo or even a Genesis, I don't use my Genesis one, so I don't know why I would. But if it was something that, like, I would actually play a lot, I might get it. But like, I have a modded GBA that is great for all my Game Boy games, so it's not like I absolutely need an analog pocket.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
I do want one. I just don't want to join the fucking rat race to do it. I'm just lazy, Stefan.
Looks like they have open pre-orders.
Yeah, if you want it in 2023,
oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
Fulfillment Group C 2023. You're right.
Yeah, I'll just like at that point, I'll put my money in the stock market, and like inflation will happen. I'll just buy a scalped one. Because what's the scalped one going to be? It's an analog product. It will be like $1,000. And I'll miss out, and it'll be fine. And I can miss out, as long as it's not something that's vintage, in which case I can't miss out. I need to FOMO everything.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny, he just said that he could miss out, and then it would be okay.
Yeah, I know. He's growing as a person. Guys, I wanted to just touch on some stuff we talked about last year.
Goals.
And just see where, not goals. I do want to check in on those, but I want to check in on Ada's Animal Crossing habit, especially. I want to know if she's still playing 8 hours of Animal Crossing a day.
She's definitely not.
Good.
No, we're on a good clip. We're playing a bunch of co-op games. I just bought like 10 different co-op games during the Steam sale that we're going to play through. Excited for that.
Is she still playing Animal Crossing?
She is playing Pokemon Go.
Okay. Still on that Go train. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Did you guys get your letters from Nintendo telling you how much you played or didn't play your Switch?
I mean, did I play my Switch this year? I don't know if I even played my Switch this year, so I don't know if there was anything to tell me.
Oh yeah, there was a letter from Nintendo, like they send out every year.
Oh, I played Pico Park on Switch at my friend's house, which was the only Switch game I played all year, Johnny.
Wow, that is crazy that that happened to you. I went up from, remember last year I was upset by having only like 35 hours. This year I got it up to 52.
Hey, that's like a video game. Maybe two video games.
That's an hour a week.
Johnny, what was the title of that email?
I do not remember, honestly.
You son of a bitch.
I'm sure it came from Nintendo though, so maybe search your filter setting it from sender Nintendo. Me. I don't know. I'm just helping you out here. I don't know what your technical skill is. Anyways, you look for that, and then I do want to get into goals and just hear what some goals are for everybody. And we talk about goals and their importance a lot on this show. You do have to have something in mind, or you can catch yourself in a malaise where you don't know what you're buying and you're just like flailing, buying whatever. And then your collection does not improve, really. It just grows. So depending on what your goals are, if you're not a set collector, growth may not be the number one goal. The quality of growth rather than the size of growth might be more important. So just keep those in mind.
14 hours, Johnny. I played my Switch for 14 hours.
Wow.
13 of those hours were ActRaiser.
Some hardcore gamers here, guys.
Right.
Wow, that is so sad. Yeah. I'm like slowly grooming my son to love video games. And when that happens, I can't wait to just play all the video games with him. Like, he doesn't know he's my best friend yet, but he's going to learn one day, and we're going to hang out all the time. And
yeah, except there's going to be a period in his teenage years where he's definitely not going to be your best friend.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Like, I know that's going to change, and then later it will get there again. Like,
yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, like, I just have to build all the nostalgia into him, so when he wants it, he's like, I remember when, and then we get those moments back when he's older.
Yeah, as much as I love the now with like a 6-year-old and how awesome she is, like I'm just because like I have such a great relationship with my mom as an adult, like our adult relationship is amazing. Like I like look at that and I want that so bad with Piper. Yeah.
So, anyways, let's talk about your goal. Stefan, you might as well tell us, what is your goal this year?
Well, I'm excited to talk about goals because Johnny
did you
me.
Yeah, and did you complete your goal from last year? And
Johnny reminded me that I did complete my goal from last year. That my goal from last year was to, because of the pandemic and everything shutting down, my goal was to at least have one art show in public with other people. And I did that. I did have one art show at the local convention, the Megabit in Simi Valley, a local convention to us. So Johnny was there as well, and it was a great show, and I had a great time, and actually set up my next show, which is SoCal Retro in February. Set that up at that show, and got some great footage. All the Steadicam footage that you see of our show that I use for promotions, that was all done at Megabit. So I was super, super happy with that show. I could not be more pleased. And then, honestly, my goal for 22 is to do more shows, see how many I can get done, or at least like some really high quality shows. Like the SoCal Retro is going to be a great show. As far as I know, whenever Portland happens, I'm going to do a show there too. So that hopefully if Portland happens in 22, then I'll be there as well. So I'm excited for that. I'm also trying my best to figure out Emerald City Comic Con for next year. Because that's, having a Nintendo Power show in Seattle, I think would be like awesome for everyone, like just because it's so intrinsically linked to that community. And I think I can actually like pull some people out of the woodwork if I'm there. So I'm excited for that too. But yeah, more shows, just growing the nonprofit, and I mean that's something that I launched in 21 was my 501c3 nonprofit, the Interactive Art Collection. So, which is Art of Nintendo Power is an exhibit within that brand. So, because you can't have a nonprofit with the word Nintendo in it. But yeah, so just growing that, and I don't have as much time as I would like, because I also again in 21 also kind of realigned my day job, my career path, and to something that I'm really passionate about, but that also takes up a tremendous amount of my time. And then I'm also a single parent of a 6-year-old, so so there's not a whole lot of time, spare time, but I actually got some decent work done on some things for the nonprofit during this break. My office is closed it was closed from the 20th all the way to the 4th. So I have a good chunk of time to put into stuff like that. Nice. So yeah, like I just want to keep things growing, and 21 was a great launch year for me, especially since 20 obviously was such a downer year as far as getting things moving, and so yeah, I'm excited.
Okay,
cool.
Tyler, what about you?
I mean, I'm looking at I don't have a set goal now, so I don't know how to define my goals. I'll just be like, what came out in 1979? And I just go through Moby Games. I'm like, what's all the coolest and most influential stuff from 1979? And I add it to my list.
What was your goal from last year?
No, that's how I built my goals last year. I said last year my goal was chip away at Japanese and computer games, because that's not where the red hot laser focus is, and that's what I'm into right now. So goddamn did I get a lot of that. So I will say, I mean, I didn't have a defined end point to that. I'm just kind of just chugging along with it. But I mean, in terms of getting the key games, Johnny, I don't think I got the tippity tip top computer stuff that I'm still going for. I did get some of the tippity tip top, for me, Japanese stuff. So I do think I'm doing excellently in terms of going after my goals and not buying dumb bullshit. I've completely cut out buying PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games that I just think would be cool. I don't have Folklore or 3D Dot Game Heroes, and those are totally games yeah, it would be cool to have Africa and Best of PlayStation Network Volume 1. Yeah, those are games that got hyped and then went down, and right now, it might be the time to buy it before they get hyped again. But I'm just ignoring all that shit and focusing on my weird old computer stuff that gets no Instagram likes. And that's basically remaining my goal into 2022. Yeah. So shout out to all my buddies who I could share this stuff with that care. Woo, Tiger Wolf. Sometimes I find some weird, rare old Koei stuff, and I'm like, check out this Koei stuff. And he's like, hell yeah, let me tell you this backstory about the founder of Koei. And I'm like, I am here for it.
Because nobody else is.
It's 100% nobody else is. I mean, I would love to get some of that tippy top computer stuff just to get it out of the way. That first print Mystery House, probably not going to get that. Man, people have been bidding strong on games I think no one cares about. Who am I bidding against, Johnny? I don't even know. Who outbid me on that Wilderness campaign that was on eBay?
Yeah, that's pretty strange.
I mean, I guess there's am I bidding against the hardcore Apple II fans? Because I would think that they're who are these assholes that are paying hundreds of dollars for these games? But maybe there's also just guys in there with money. Now's the time, better pay, $2,000 for Wilderness campaign.
Either that or the brainworms that are going around just infected everybody.
Maybe. I bet there's still a lot of people mad about it. Apple II collectors, I can't get in rare games anymore.
I used to just find them at Goodwill's. What happened?
I never find an Apple II GS at Goodwill anymore. Everyone's ruining everything.
I want to tell you a fun fact. You brought up Africa on the PS3. Did you know that one of the alternate titles, in one of the Asian regions for it, is Hakuna Matata?
That's pretty good.
There you go. There's a fun fact for the episode.
Wait. So, okay, I'm guessing, Hakuna Matata, that's actually, a real thing then? It's not just a Lion King phrase?
No, that's actually a thing.
Okay. You say that everybody knows that. If we polled, let's get that representative sample of 1,000 people who said that Nintendo 64 was the best console ever, how many people do you think would think that's just a made-up Lion King thing? What language is that, Stefan? Got you! You've never seen the Maltese Falcon! Boom! Got him!
Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, I believe that's Korean too. I said region, but I think it's the Korean release.
Okay.
It's Swahili, you racist.
Thank you, Stefan, for that moment.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I love being called a racist on this show. That's great. Definitely throw that into the public record. So someone could misquote you and take it out of context.
Hey, anyone's
Put it
allowed
right next to where I told everyone not to get vaccinated.
Yeah. Yep. Anyone's allowed
to be clear, get fucking vaccinated and boosted. Jesus, this is the worst. I don't want this to happen every year. I want to go back to work, guys.
Look, if you want to use me saying "you racist" as a ringtone, you're welcome to.
I don't.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that anyone can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying now. All right. My goals, Tyler, were much like yours. It was just like, I'm going to buy stuff I like, and there's no set path. I did say I was going to complete the Wii. I was like, you know what? I'm going to complete the Wii. And Stefan was like, do you care that much? Do you care 100 games care? And Stefan was kind of like, nah, maybe not. And I did make a dent, but not that big. I did buy some, and I did buy some Xbox game sets I was still working on. I said I was going to buy some more GBA cool games. I did that. I said I was going to buy some cool PS2 games. I did that. But finish the Wii or Xbox, I did not do those things. Still chipping away. Maybe one day I will finish the Wii set. One day, guys. So,
there's a lot of those games, Johnny.
What's that?
There's a lot of those games.
Yeah.
Did I mention last year wanting to sell off larger swaths of my collection? Because that's something that happened in 21.
No, you didn't. You mentioned that you might have to realign, and we talked about your game room kind of being a vestigial piece of your collection, as that was no longer your current direction.
You did say you're not going to buy more sealed games like a garbage man. Did you end up doing that?
I don't think I bought. Well, okay. If we're counting, of course we're counting because it is sealed. I did buy the clamshell Illusion of Gaia with a T-shirt. That was actually one of my first purchases of this year.
I mean, you're hard on
fucking bourgeoisie over here.
I do love Illusion of Gaia though.
I know you do love that T-shirt.
I do have many copies of it now.
Yeah, ruining it for the rest of us. Thanks, Stefan.
Yep.
Now I can't get
Fuck
one.
all the pores. That's my motto.
Yours and Tyler's, I think. I embrace you guys and try to lift you up. These assholes tear you down.
You embrace the pores?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. That's better.
Look, I embrace them by trying to help them out. You are just like, F you guys, I'll step on your neck.
I'm always the one with the episodes like, cool shit you can get for $10. Don't tell me I don't embrace the pores. I am ironically saying the pores here just for the quote miners going through this episode of Collector's Quest. Like, man, I'm going to cancel fucking all of them.
Yeah. What goal for 2022? Not get canceled.
Or get canceled. I mean, that's
get canceled. Yeah. I mean, listen to this episode and you know which way it's going. So, anyways, I'm going to continue to do the same thing. I am going to continue to chip away at that Wii set until one day it's finished. Maybe I'll get a wild hair and just be like, I'm going to complete it. And that's what you thought I would do, Tyler. You thought I'd get so close like I am now and just be like, F it, and just go on a buying spree for all of them. But I did not, because I don't.
That you haven't.
I don't.
And I mean, prices haven't even gone up that much on Wii stuff, so I don't know what you're waiting for.
I don't know. I just it's hard to buy these games. It's hard. Like, I look at my list and I'm like, I don't mind buying these 5, but I just don't want to buy another copy of Just Dance.
There is some chunk of your dumbass Wii collection you could have never bought, and you could have won one of the copies of Mystery House that went on eBay the past couple months.
Yeah, I would still like a copy of Mystery House. It's weird because 4 years ago when you brought it up, I was like, why? I never want Mystery House. Now I'm completely 100% in on a first print of Mystery House. Yeah.
You're probably not going to get a first print. You could sell for a third though. Those are a lot more common.
Yeah, I mean, I would take a third. Really, I would just like a nice copy of Mystery House.
Well, this is how market manipulation works, John. You just keep repeating something until the ooze on Sega Genesis is the hot thing to own.
That's right, guys. The ooze. Have you done our yearly check on the ooze? Has it gone up?
I'm going to base it all on our hype,
price website.
You know how much we've been talking about the ooze lately, everybody. I'm just going to go to the game value now, which just calls it ooze because why not? Who needs articles? It's
just a reminder, all your lists are bad.
It's $49 compared to the beginning of the year when it was $50.
Damn it, we're going the wrong way on
We picked the one game that plateaued. Ooze. You'll always
how
be in
about
the
Shelley
middle.
Duvall's It's a Bird's Life?
That went down last year.
No.
Yeah, well, we checked and it went down.
Or
maybe that was 2 years ago we checked. But yeah, it was on a down slump.
Man, you go to this game value now thing because no one's buying these. It is just a straight line across. It literally looks like no one bought a copy this year. At least that was tracked.
It's just because none were for sale because it's so rare.
Because it's so rare. Rarest $24 game on planet Earth. Not even true, because probably the rarest $24 game on planet Earth is also on 3DO. Carrier Fortress at Sea, guys. Get your Carrier Fortress at Sea.
That shit is hard, or it used to be hard.
Slope style.
Also very hard.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of these games don't sell because you just don't find them.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I want to move us on. I know that's like the bullshit phrase I always use when we're talking. I'm like, okay, guys. I hate when I hear myself say it. Damn it.
Guys.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Ugh, barf. But let's move on and let's talk about my favorite part of the show. I want us to look at the episodes we did this year. And I've got some cool stats for everyone. I guess not everyone. I've got some stats I like that I'm going to go over first. But we're going to talk about our best episode of the year, in our opinion. Like, what was our best, what was our worst, and if that was also the most informative episode. But I just want to give everyone a general rundown. Oh, I forgot on my goals. I did say in last year's episode I was going to start a Patreon. Guess what? We did. Woo. And you can join it by going to patreon.com/collectorsquest and joining for as little as $2 or as much as $6, but really just join at the $4 tier because that's the best tier. And
way to sell, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm always like trying not to put money in our pocket. But yeah, go there if you want to get on our Discord, chat with us, and get access to our After Dark episodes and some bonus content. Or don't, and keep getting the free show that you enjoy. I'm not holding it against you. And thank you to everyone who joined us this year and made our Patreon what I would call more successful than Tyler and I anticipated for sure, and probably Stefan, because he was like, we're doing a Patreon?
It's more successful than Tyler and I.
Yeah, Stefan was like, I don't know what's happening over here.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, just like really, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great. I love our Discord and everyone who's hanging out there. So, and it was really nice to hang out on Christmas. So, for the Christmas gift exchange. So if you are interested in that kind of lifestyle, we got the place for you. And it's not a place where you can be sad. So you can do that on Facebook. Pirates of Dark Water rules. Just shouting that out. Anyways, episodes. Guys, said it again. 2019, we did 28 episodes. That was 1.9 days of podcasting is what the content we delivered. 1.9 days is like a lot. That's an average of 140 minutes per episode. So, that's basically 46 hours. And in 2020, we were the picture of consistency. 1.9 days, again, 46 hours. But this time it was only 23 episodes, and they were like 2 hours per episode rather than an hour and 40 minutes. So our episode, the length increased, but the same amount of podcast overall happened. And in 2021, Tyler was like, we're doing this. And he was just on it all year and like driving the train a lot, making sure we were staying consistent with episodes. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Tyler.
Thanks, Tyler.
And we got, 30 episodes out. So we went from, a very 28 is a lot to 30, but listen to how much podcasting, 2.6 days, 2.6 days of podcast. So that's over 60 hours of the podcast. And that does not include all the bonus stuff that we did for After Dark, Tyler, which has got to add another big, long chunk of time on there. So
not a quality chunk, but yes, that is time that people spent. Unless you're one of the people.
Undeniably more content, Tyler. Move
Undeniably, it is more content. And you're a content creator. You just got to crank that shit out and put a stupid face on it.
Yeah. Yeah. YouTube face. Wonderful. We should get that on our Discord.
Look, if you guys want some YouTube face, I'm happy to oblige.
No, thank you.
I do some great YouTube face.
No, you don't. You don't even shave your face. You're always looking sloppy.
Actually, I don't really YouTube much, honestly, anymore. It's sad.
Yeah, that was like one of the things you were talking about last year. You're like, I'm really committed now. Here we are. But yeah, I don't blame you. You were far too busy for that shit.
Yeah.
Life gets in the way. Anyways.
Sure does.
Let's talk about the episodes now. I just thought that was cool that we got out that much content this year. That's like a lot. I don't know if it was better, but 2.6 days, over 60 hours, not counting After Dark stuff. Yeah, great. All right. Tyler, why don't you go first? Tell me, what was your favorite episode this year?
I mean, we did a collecting the history of Mario games and the rarest Zelda games, and man, Mario and Zelda are pretty cool. I guess the history of Mario games, because that is such like Tyler bullshit that we talked about, like Donkey Kong Game and Watches. You know, maybe I'll go Zelda because I don't remember the episodes. I haven't listened to them. I bet it was easier to have conversations about shit that wasn't rare Game and Watches.
So I'll tell you on the Mario one, like I didn't fully embrace your concept at first, so I think I ruined with dumbass jokes in the middle of the Mario one, and was more on board in the Zelda one. And that was my problem. It wasn't a you problem or a design problem. That was just me being a jackass. Yeah, those were good episodes. I actually like that we started kind of delving into that side, like the collecting the history of survival horror, was another one in that kind of series that I liked that we did too.
Yeah, and just because I think also those episodes can relate to basically everyone, because everyone likes Mario and Zelda, and when we do an episode on the Wada Pop Report, people are probably just like, how do I unsubscribe from this podcast?
Yeah. True. Okay. Stefan, what about you? What do you got for best?
All right, look, I don't think it's a secret that I'm not on this podcast because I collect a whole bunch of video games. So generally my favorite stuff is when we talk about other things. So my absolute favorite, and I feel like also things that I feel like I can contribute to like squarely and like give good stuff back to the audience. Those are going to be my favorite episodes. So my favorite episode of this year was episode 173. You've completed the set. What now? Where we talked about other ways that you can invest in the hobby or reinvest in your game room, or spruce things up and just other things that you can do once you've hit your set goal, because that's exactly where I was. So I think out of any episode this year, I think that particular episode was the one that I had the most to contribute to, because that's 100% where I was in my collection journey at the time. So that was my favorite.
Okay. For me, I liked, we did some good episodes this year. We did a lot of episodes too. I like that we did a couple of the cheesy one-offs that I know Tyler kind of rolls his eyes at. I like that we did NES games based on R-rated movies. That I know that wasn't a big hit with people, but I like looking at dumb little subsets like that, and cartoons. Just we talked about a lot of cartoon stuff. That was cool, but my favorite, and I mentioned it already, was the collecting of the history of survival horror. I like that we started doing episodes like that, as I said, and it got into the Halloween theme, and Tyler's way more on board with Halloween stuff. So yeah, I like that. And I like a lot of the direction we've taken. So maybe not specifically on episodes, but on design, I like where we're going. I also really liked doing the light gun episode, because I don't know, light guns are cool, and we got to talk about it. So, and then I just saw the historian just did a video on light guns, and I was like, we were there first. So that felt good too. Anyways, yeah. That's it. That's all I got there. Okay,
Great.
let's move on to worst. Which episode were you like, man, we should have just scrapped it from the start, but we did it anyways? Go ahead, Tyler.
I don't know, man. Are we that bad?
Not really.
I mean, if you want my honest answer, which I'm not allowed to say,
least good.
It's gonna be the interview episode, because I don't like interview episodes. Right? I'm a bit of a mic hog, Johnny.
Mine too.
So let me not say the rude answer, and I don't know, the Carl Jobst episode, because it's outdated and probably doesn't matter. And that episode's only 3 months old. That episode's 3 months old. That episode feels like it's 1 billion years old. It's irrelevant. No one will ever listen to it again. So why does it exist? It had to exist in that weak moment, but now it's whatever. I don't know. Maybe it was okay, but.
All right, Stefan.
What do you honestly, it was the interview episode, but it had nothing to do with the interviewer. It was just all to do with the putting 4 people on this when it's hard enough with 3. Like I think that's generally why we don't do interviews with people anyway, right? Is that it's just logistically very difficult. And it was just, I don't know. And that was not my favorite. But again, nothing to do with the topic or the interviewer, just mostly the logistics.
I mean, it's for Stefan to say that it has to be true that it's all about the logistics because he's in that documentary. So
I am in that documentary.
Yeah, so he would be hyping it. It's nothing against Edward or the movie or anything like that. It's like just the logistics and figuring that out is always kind of hard. It's hard. Interviews are hard with 4 people. They just are.
For sure.
Any podcast with 4 people is hard unless you have like a big fancy expensive setup and everyone's together and then you can see each other's faces. But like Skype with no video,
being able to take facial cues off people is so important when you have that many people.
Yeah. So
maybe next time we do
tease having Robin Mahara on the show again. We did it last year.
Yeah, we were like, we should have Robin, and then Tyler was like super rude about it. And
what was I?
Yeah.
I mean, you do hate that guy.
Oh my god.
You're always like, how's it feel to be the second best or some bullshit? How's it feel to lose? Like, you always say shit like that. It's so rude.
Such a dick.
I want to know your perspective on sucking. Like, so rude.
Oh my god.
If we do interviews, we should honestly, if we just kind of turned our cameras on, that would probably help tremendously.
Yeah. Again, that's just like the video thing, or
not
maybe
not that we need to
like.
We don't need to broadcast the video if you don't want to.
know.
If you're uncomfortable with that, but just again to just take facial cues off of each other, that would probably be very helpful.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing actually, but yeah, solid idea, Stefan. I'm going to credit you. Solid idea.
Thanks.
I am not going to say the interview because that's not my least favorite episode at all. It is technically a challenge and it does create for some awkward moments. And then like, also we all 3 know each other. So it's a lot easier to talk. When you have someone new, you got to kind of like figure something out sometimes. But the Carl Jobst one, oh my God, I didn't want to do that episode. I didn't want to talk about it. I never want to talk about it. I got called a fucking water shill like 4 fucking times. Guys, I'm going to set something up for everybody right fucking now. I do not own graded games. These 2 assholes, they own graded games. I've never said go buy a graded game. Hear me. I don't own any graded games. I don't like graded games. I want nothing to do with them. I think the cases are stupid. Just fuck off on this already, all right? No, I've never, like, if you are listening to this podcast and you're like, I want to learn about some collecting stuff, and these guys are maybe sometimes entertaining or maybe sometimes are total assholes like Johnny's being right now, but they also give me some information, so I'm going to listen. You're like, I'm going to follow maybe what these guys do because maybe they seem like they've done okay in collecting. If you can still listen to everything I've said and done and then be like, because I happen to like Dennis as a person and as a person I would call a friend, but that has nothing to do with business, and then go, yeah, Johnny's a water show. After I've just said, I don't own the games, I don't recommend them, don't grade your games, how often do I shit talk investing? And people are like, yeah, that guy's a show for water. He really wants it.
So you just want the games is what you're saying, but you can't afford them.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I'm a poor. Thank you for identifying what it is. That episode just like embodied all of that. And then people just like coming at me from all angles. And then like, just like getting emails or texts from my family about video games and just like having to engage in inane just conversations about this from some guy who doesn't know about video games, like at least not collecting. Holy shit balls. God, I hate that episode. I want to burn it to the ground. I want to burn that episode. Did we need to do it? Probably. Was it relevant? Sure. Will I have to do another dumbass episode like that? Probably. Didn't really love the pop episode. Didn't love like every time a record breaks and we have to do that. But that's part of collecting.
We sure didn't. I'm sure they're. Oh, we did the Mario 64. We didn't do the other one.
No, but we talk about. But the Mario 64 one was like
so ridiculous
that buying it. Yeah, like we are video game collectors. We are talking on, not reporting, but we discuss events that happen. So, I mean, that's relevant to collecting and it's relevant to everyone. So I get that it impacts the people who we're talking to and us. So I get why we have to do those episodes, but I don't always love them. But that doesn't mean I phone it in. I come with all the passion I have. Clearly, if I can still be called a Wada shill after all of that, yeah. There it is. That's the one I fucking hate. I hate it. It's actually my least favorite episode we've ever done. And that includes episodes that after recording, I said, no, I'm not publishing those. There you go.
Damn, we should have done one for the follow-up Carl Jobst video, guys.
Absolutely not.
So Johnny could defend Wada some more. Legally.
Oh, God. Please don't. I don't even want to fake discuss it. So, anyways, that was my least favorite episode. Do you guys have any most informative episodes you want to talk about? Anything there? Different answers.
Honestly, I did, as a real quick answer, I would probably stick with my favorite one, where we just kind of like rattled off various things that you could do besides collecting games. I thought that was also super informative.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would change my answer for most informative to that one because I think that's a crux that a lot of people get to, and I thought that was like kind of good information.
Yeah, and not something that like I think is like widely talked about either, like on similar podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Weirdest title: The market is euphoric. Should you sell out? Thanks, Tyler. That was a good one. I chuckle every time I see that the market is euphoric.
I don't even remember what the fuck we talked about in that episode.
That was like the market.
What did we say? No, games are great. Just keep them. Like, what did we say?
No. Yeah, that's basically what we said. Well, people were like, you should sell your video games right now because the market is at its peak. Everyone get out. It was another bubble is bursting thing was going on. I think there was something on the CUP podcast about it or something too. I think we were responding a little bit. Okay. I thought, Tyler, your second favorite or least favorite episode was going to be the CQ cut, collecting DC games.
Yeah, that was pretty low on there. Johnny, I am so ready for us to stop circle jerking over our own content and move on to whatever the next segment is. Is it collector's questions or is it predictions for 2022?
We're not circle jerking. We're
reminiscing, but people don't want to hear us reminisce about our content. Are people like nostalgic for the collector's quest episodes of yore?
I don't think we're talking about nostalgia. It's like the inside baseball. You hear about like what we thought about our own stuff. It's evaluation.
Right. That's way better than my take on it. My take is that it's more like a clip show. Although it's not really a clip show. It's like
it's definitely
bad
not
DVD
a clip show.
Commentary where it's like, I don't really remember what we said in this episode.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Tyler, asshole. Like it was like 4 minutes, except for if you exclude my rant. Yeah, we were gonna move on, and I was gonna just. I wanted one like little shout out because I don't think we've ever done it, and I'm gonna get his name wrong, but I think it's Aldo Galindo. I'm sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. Like this guy's just been a stalwart listening to this podcast on SoundCloud. It's like since the inception, I think he's got the most listens. So anyways, just saying hi to you, and just acknowledging that I've seen your name before and I look every year at your views and, hey, thanks for always listening to the show.
Is that the guy that tagged us on Instagram and had like an amazing amount of hours logged?
No, that was not him.
Okay.
I think Tiger Wolf was one of the first ones that tagged us for that. I don't remember the others, but yeah, people were showing us their Spotify and man, thank you guys so much for listening. Anyways, Tyler hates us circle jerking about our content. So yeah, let's go ahead.
We would have been done. And then you had to reel us back in.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about some collector's questions and let's answer some of those, Tyler.
Hold on. Let me get there.
Oh my God. You were this annoyed and worst. Checking out of the episode. You could have at least pulled it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm getting there.
Oh my God. This guy. Tyler.
Fucking
never change. And I mean that. I do love you, Tyler.
Jasonic the Kid asks Stefan, was collecting the PS2 set so soul-crushingly intimidating that you decided to sell all of your collection and go after something easier with the Nintendo Power stuff?
Something easier like original art. Yes.
You know what? I've got original art. Johnny, do you have some original art?
I don't.
Any piece of original art. Has JD ever drawn something on the refrigerator?
No.
I see where you're going with this. Yes, it was absolutely soul crushing. That I was, after doing 12 North American sets, PS2 was it's just too much. It's too much. And
People have original art. No one has a PS2 set. It's an exclusive club. All right.
Did you just throw something?
Johnny just completely outed and said BRB on the Skype thing, but we'll keep going. Question, Tyler, what is the current world of pinball manufacturers, and what new pin would you most like to get?
And where can you find alternate art for Comet?
To explain that reference to our listeners, because no one knows what the art for Comet looks like. I'm guessing Dan Maresca does not listen to this podcast, Stefan. Comet is, 1986 pinball machine drawn by weird guy Python Angelou, and it's got 12 people in a roller coaster. Oh, it's just why am I even explaining this? There's a very stereotypical.
Now you have to go.
Stereotypical bad drawing of a black child. It's racist. Why is there a racist pinball backlash on a classic game? What's the current world of pinball manufacturers? I have no idea. I haven't been to an arcade in 2 years. My whole life is out of control. The prices, I can't even afford, flip it. I guess I could, rotate my games if I sell, but, oh, man. Whenever I buy a game, I figure, I'll sell it for, the same price I bought it, and that will be fair. I'm not going to charge someone $1,000 more than I paid for a game. It feels.
I'm sorry. What are you're talking about? Selling games that you've bought?
No, I can't just buy new pinball machines. First of all, I don't have room. Second of all, pinball machine prices are just like video game prices. Everything is double what it used to be, and I don't want to enter that brave new world. So I'm just happy with what I got. I literally have no idea what the new stuff is. I haven't even played a Willy Wonka yet. There's I see so many old men, Steve Ritchie works for JJP now. No one knows pinball stuff. Who am I talking to? Who is this segment for? What new pin would I most like to get? I guess Willy Wonka, because Jersey Jack makes really complex and cool games.
I'd really like Rick and Morty. That's the only new one that I'd really like that I don't have.
Yeah, I've never played that because it's a spooky game, so it's super boutique, and they probably made 500 of them, right?
Yeah, there's not very many.
Johnny, are you back?
I am.
Whoa, is it harder to spend a large amount of money on a video game or a book? I ask because you mentioned on the show spending a significant amount more on a book than you have on a video game. Do you think you'll ever spend more than that on a video game?
Okay, so no, it's not harder to spend more money on a video game than a book. The reason, it was easier on the book in this case because that book is the obtainable grail. It is the thing. It's the one thing I like. If the top of the mountain, aside from the hardback, that's what I want. That's what I'm in this for. This is the biggest piece, and it was still obtainable, and it was never going to be more obtainable. So there's nothing in video game when I started collecting, there was no reason to spend that much except on stadium events, which I have no feelings for. My wife loves Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. It wasn't hard. We love those books. So I'm buying a thing I love. So in that sense, it was easier. Buying stadium events, I don't love stadium events. So that was for the NES set. That was the one mountain I wouldn't climb because I just looked at that and said, no, I don't care about this. It's not an investment for me, and I didn't look at it that way then. I just said, I want to own these games. But the set wasn't more important than $10,000 or even $3,000 back when I had the opportunity. Also $3,000 back then compared to the $7,000 or nearly $7,000 I spent on Harry Potter. It was $6,200 or something what I spent on that. That was $3,000 was still more money to me back then than probably the $6,000 is now. Sure. And I could have done it. It wasn't so far out of bounds that I couldn't have done it. I just didn't want to. So again, it's not the hardness of it. Like I completed the Super Nintendo. I spent all the money required because it's my favorite thing, right? That's like, this is the thing. I love this thing. So I'm going to just go and do it. There just wasn't anything that expensive. So I never really had to meet that. Magical Chase, like I went and got for the turbo system. Like I really wanted to complete that set. And Magical Chase is kind of cool. I don't love it, but like, I think it's neat. So it was easy to spend like that money on, but like I wouldn't have spent 10,000 on it. So yeah, the book, because it was that specific book, also like, I don't know if I don't think there was any like investor brain going like, oh, I guess I could definitely, I'm going to make money on this, or these are going to be more collectible than games. That's not how it went. Did I look at it and go, I think whatever money I put into this, I could always get out of it. So it's kind of just like adjusting my savings into a different area, or at least a piece of my savings into a different area. Yeah, I did kind of look at it like that, because if we ever had to, we could get rid of it and I think make money on our purchase, but that's not really where we are, unless, things go completely haywire. But again, I always spend money on like collectibles in a way that I'm never going to miss it. Like the money is gone.
Sure. It's
not an investment. I lit it on fire. If I ever do make money off it, great. Sorry, that's like that's kind of it's a hard question, because I don't know the exact right answer. And you would think I would, because it's directed for me in my situation, but they were different. They don't line up exactly.
Follow-up question. I'm raising my hand. You can't see it, but I am. Do you feel like that it made it easier or influenced your decision or the ease of that decision at all, based on the fact that it's something that you and Carly do together versus?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. The one, there's like, we obviously had a discussion, but like, it's exciting for me, like when she's into books and stuff like this. And even though I have to go do most of the legwork, I'm excited that she gets excited that we own them. And that's like a little, I like, you guys might find this weird, but I love my wife and we're friends, and I think it's cool when we can do stuff together. So yeah, it was great. That it definitely did make it easier.
I'm going to do one more question. Those were all by Jasonic the Kids, so it feels like cheating to give him all of them. I'm going to get one by Daddy Mulk.
Yeah.
Halloween-related question from late September, guys. What are your personal ranking of the monster cereals? Either all 5 cores or at least the Holy Trinity. I had to look these up. I assume you guys know them by memory.
Yep.
Stefan.
I'm sorry,
TV subscriber.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I was distracted by my child.
Series, Count Chocula and stuff. Which, of the 5 available, which are your favorites? Which is your favorite?
Oh, probably Count Chocula. I probably eat that the most of all of them. Yeah, for sure.
You're supposed to rank all of them, or at least the core 3 guys. I mean, everyone knows the Holy Trinity of monster cereals.
So,
Johnny.
Like Stefan.
Stefan can go again.
Yeah. Do you want to continue ranking after Count Chocula being 1? Where are you putting Boo Berry and Monster Mash and?
Honestly, I don't think I've actually eaten any other cereal except for Count Chocula since I was a kid. So I don't know that I have the reference to rank them. I have the boxes. I bought the boxes, but I don't think I have the palate memory to tell you, aside from Count Chocula.
Yeah, and I think it's 6 now, right? Yeah, I think
Monster Mash 6. Is a mashup of the 5 in one box.
Yeah,
it looks like.
So yeah, I'm going to include that in my rankings because it's actually my number 2. Count Chocula being my number 1, Monster Mash being my number 2, Frankenberry being 3, Boo Berry being 4. No, maybe Yummy Mummy and then Boo Berry. And then I don't think I've ever actually had just Fruit Brute by itself. So
I'll put Count Chocula at number 1, as low as a number 1 will go, because I don't like chocolatey cereals. I will take an extremely sweet cereal, because Cinnamon Toast Crunch has to be in the conversation of any conversation. Never had Frankenberry, never had Boo Berry, have never heard of Fruity Yummy Mummy, have never heard of Fruit Brute. What are these West Coast ass cereals you guys get?
No, these are old. Like, those are old. Like, if you're seeing them new, like, it's because General Mills re-released them. But yeah, like Yummy Mummy and Fruit Brute, I don't know, did they get new releases? Because they were dead for
I'm looking at a comparison of old and new boxes.
Fruit Brute was, unless they brought it back recently, Fruit Brute was dead for a long time.
Same with Yummy Mummy.
I'm going to go to the Wikipedia page for Fruit Brute cereal and see what's going up with that. I'm sorry, there's a Wikipedia page for Monster cereals.
Yep. It sure is.
So, surely they will tell me when it was discontinued. It was 1974 to 1982, relaunched in 2013, discontinued in 2014. Yeah, Daddy Milk, I've never had fucking Fruit Brute, a cereal that was around for less than a year while I've been alive.
He did say you could keep it to the Holy Trilogy, or Trinity of them.
I'm guessing the Holy Trinity are the ones that haven't been canceled.
It's Chocula, it's Count Chocula, Fruit Brute, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry. Those three are always out at Target, like every year, always.
At least Yummy Mummy was around from 1988 to 1992 before it got discontinued, so I was technically alive while that existed.
Well, that's why I can tell you Yummy Mummy, and I can't tell you anything about Fruit Brute.
All right. All right, great. That's our collector's questions.
No, we're going to do one more. We got an easy one. Kanaka says, is Nightmare Before Christmas an honorary Halloween title or strictly Christmas? It's both.
What?
Real easy.
I have no idea what this is.
What's the title song of Nightmare Before Christmas, Kanakis? This is Halloween? I think it's a Halloween movie, too.
It's Halloween. It's both. You can start watching it when Halloween season starts and finish it up at the New Year's. That's how my house runs with it.
I mean, he made the perfect movie because Thanksgiving is a boring concept, and combining Halloween with Christmas is a much more ingenious way to make a movie that's technically kind of Thanksgiving-y.
This is Thanksgiving. It just doesn't have that ring. Anyways, all right. Just wanted to get that. That was a real quick one. And do we have anything else we want to answer? Nope. We'll save those. We're gonna have to do a question episode to get through these guys. Stefan's like,
it.
Yes,
thank you.
No, fuck that.
Favorite
we have
episode
this
of 22.
section, so we don't need the question episode.
Well, you said that, but we're not answering enough questions. Well, I guess maybe there's like we're like 20 questions behind. At least.
Yeah, but if we ask people for more questions, they'll just put in more questions. It's amazing.
But when do we get current?
Retro Game Enthusiast asks, what are your favorite podcasts that have little to nothing to do with video games?
That's easy. Guys, just pull up
Collector's Quest.
Yeah, Collector's Quest is my favorite podcast, guys. Has very little to do with video games, especially right fucking now.
I honestly only listen to video game podcasts.
Do you? I listen to no video game podcasts. I don't want to hear it.
You know what? No, that's not true. So I do listen with Piper and Kate's son to a podcast called Unspookable, which it basically like breaks down like things that are scary for kids, like they'll giant spiders or mummies or werewolves or whatever, and they like educate them like at a like an age appropriate level about that thing. So like to kind of like take a very scary subject and make it less scary, and they do it actually a really good job of it. So that's one that I.
Tyler, do you have an answer, or do you want me to go? Because I know you listen to Comic Tom.
Oh, obviously the Bags and Board podcast with your boy Comic Tom, here to count down the 10 craziest sales that have the books on fire in this market collecting modern day mythology. I can't keep my Comic Tom impression.
I enjoyed it, but thank you.
I did not enjoy it.
Hardcore History, I think that's an obvious one. Radiolab, to one that maybe people haven't heard of. I have no idea how popular this podcast is. Deep Dive in the Shallow End.
I've not
Great.
heard of it.
Sounds like you guys haven't heard of it. So
is it an oral sex podcast?
Is it what?
An oral sex podcast? Because that's
Totally
that's,
not.
'cause I'm
you
here
know
for
what?
it.
I guess if we're talking about shallow end, Stefan's got it.
Deep dive.
God,
No,
fucking damn it.
you said into the shallow end. So,
That's right.
yeah. I'm saying you have a small penis.
Oh, okay.
Shallow,
The,
not deep.
it's two comedians. One is the editor-in-chief of Hard Drive, which is like the Onion for technology, and they basically just read you a Wikipedia page of something interesting while making wisecracks, and I enjoy it very much. If I look for Deep Dive in the Shallow End, the first YouTube video has 229 views, so it's possible no one but me listens to this fucking podcast. I don't know, but it's great. If you like comedy and boring or interesting things, you can listen to that.
Not a podcast, but I know we both like it. Hot Ones.
Oh, I don't like Hot Ones because I don't like interviews.
You love Hot Ones. Love the interviews. I like Hot Ones.
He's an excellent interviewer. Does
Oh,
he do
yeah,
a
he is.
podcast as well as the YouTube show? Because I watched.
I
the
don't know.
YouTube
I'm just saying it's like kind of like a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like also his questions are like crafted in a way to like just like jerk off how great his interview questions are. He's like, look at how deep my fucking cut is, bitch. That's like all his questions.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't
but
care
that's
because I'm here for it.
He's
I know,
also
I know.
there for like those are celebrities and they kind of need that, and he's forcing them to eat the bomb sauce. Tyler, like, come on.
Why doesn't he just ask them, what was it like working with The Rock while making the new Jumanji movie?
Because they go through a press junket and they answer those questions all day and hate it.
I know, that I know, Johnny. I know.
Well, then don't ask the question if you don't want an answer.
Ah!
It's also fun when they like are having a very difficult time braining good at the towards the end, and like having them ask or answer really existential questions.
Yeah, Hot Ones is good. I have some more answers. Hey, shout out to Dialogue Alley, to a couple of my friends there. It's a Harry Potter book collecting podcast. That's on if you're interested in Harry Potter stuff. So
That's a very clever name.
yeah, Dialogue Alley. It's great. We love that name.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's great. And that's Carly, Eric, and Melanie over there. I enjoy their podcast.
No relation.
And give them, that's a Carly with a Y. My wife is an IE. I also enjoy Constructed Resources, which is a magic podcast. So that's like a thing. And what else do I listen to? Oh yeah,
Constructed
fake
sucks.
doctors, real friends. So that's the Scrubs Rewatch podcast with Zach Braff and Donald Faison. So I listened to that. I said watch, but I listened because I like
Wait,
Scrubs.
Zach Braff has a podcast about his own show.
Yeah, they do a rewatch. Him and Donald. They started right when the pandemic started. Yeah, it's good. They go through each episode. And they have like all of the cast of Scrubs comes on and talk. They have like directors come on, like various different roles in the show come on and talk about it. It's really good, and you get their perspective, and you hear about their younger life and the careers and stuff. It's fun. They keep it pretty fun. So yeah, it's good stuff. There you go.
Daddy
I like
Mulk
Scrubs a lot.
asks, what's a game you absolutely wanted to hate, but... Oh, I'm sorry. Red the Game Shark asked this, but we can just write over him. Whatever. What's a game you absolutely wanted to hate, but ended up loving?
Hold on.
Oh, you got more
Red the
podcasts?
Game Shark. If you want cheap import games, contact Red the Game Shark for the cheapest games around. Okay, you may continue.
Guys, what's a game you wanted to hate, but ended up loving?
Wanted to hate.
I don't.
Come on, you don't go
Didn't
into
we just
games
establish-
wanting to hate them? Oh, you know what? Do I have one? I don't know if I
Puyo
have.
Rock
Puyo.
Band.
Oh, no.
Oh, ouch. Careful, he'll cut his sponsorship. Rock Band and Guitar Hero. I thought I would hate those games, and I wound up loving them. So there you go.
That's interesting.
Also, like Call of Duty is a game I should absolutely hate, but still enjoy it. Though I haven't played it in like a year and a half.
That's actually true. Like I played a lot of Battlefield when I was working at EA, and with coworkers, that would be like our lunch break game, and I thought I was absolutely going to hate it, and I grew to like it quite a lot.
It turns out the group experience can make up for the game sometimes.
Yeah, and it was cool because like this was like back when I was in QA, so we were in like a cube farm, and so it was like a big LAN party essentially. It was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, like when I play Call of Duty, it's always with my friends. I'm not just like out there with. I mean, when I was being competitive at it, I was out there with randos, but for the most part, it was a thing I did with friends. That's my answer. Tyler, you got an answer, and this will be our last one. Or is Tyler is going to take?
It's only 1:30. I've got hours in me. We've got to get through these questions.
See, look at you taking this to extreme. I just mentioned that maybe we need to do a question episode, and you're like, "Oh,
it's the question episode. This is it."
I definitely don't have a 6-year-old who I need to feed.
Oh my God, Jesus, you haven't fed her. I could make this list of just Mass Effect games or just BioWare games, like. Mass Effect 2, like I knew going into it because like I was into Mass Effect, like they dumbed down the inventory system. It's just a stupid people RPG. It's like one of the greatest games of all time. And then Mass Effect 3 was like fucking trashed by everyone. I didn't play that one on release. Everyone's like, oh, Mass Effect 3, oh, the ending sucks. Oh, Mass Effect 3's garbage. Mass Effect 3 is fucking awesome. Dragon Age Origins, like how does BioWare follow up Neverwinter Nights with this fucking stupid kiddie console RPG? Dragon Age Origins is fucking awesome.
I'm glad you said that, Tower, because I also love Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah.
I did not love Dragon Age 3, though.
I did not play that Inquisition. Who talks about that? That was like Game of the Year everywhere. What was it, like 2014? And fucking no one talks about that game.
It was too big and too directionless. And if I was going to do that, then Elder Scrolls is where I'm going to be for that.
Sure. Yeah, that's the game where you wander around and do nothing.
Yep.
My last one, Deus Ex Human Revolution. I think I was hyped for this one, but it was coming off the back of Deus Ex Invisible War. Invisible, right? That's what it was called. And again, like Human Revolution was so good. Maybe a little bit for its time. I bet shooters in that style are better now, but oh man. So those are my games. I think we should just stick to BioWare games because, man, they snatched victory from the jaws of defeat so many times.
Except for that one game that's a little racist.
And what are they even doing now?
Was that the one I recommended people should play? Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, and let's guys play Anthem. I don't know anything about Anthem. Maybe Anthem's awesome. I mean, people hated Mass Effect 3, right? Maybe Anthem. Everyone's wrong about it.
Mass Effect 3, the ending was bad. They created this promised system, and then they really just chickened out at the end. It just made it felt like they just said, we got to ship it, and they shipped it.
Does not matter. Literally, the ending of Deus Ex Human Revolution is the same thing. It's a game where you make all these choices and shit, and then the ending of that game is 3 different buttons you could press to get the ending cutscene in 3 different ways.
Yeah, well, that's one more option than you got Mass Effect until they patched it, and then they gave you a third option.
I got the patch with 3 options. I'm like, oh, it's like Deus Ex Human Revolution. I love this game.
Yeah. Anyways, Mass Effect 3 was not terrible, but the ending, it was just very disappointing, especially because you had all this buildup. Because the Mass Effect games are great, except Andromeda.
I never played Andromeda.
Yeah,
maybe I get out of series before they actually get bad.
Yeah, maybe.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Stefan refuses to acknowledge Andromeda's existence.
Okay.
So, all right, there we go. There's
the Crystal Skull.
Questions.
It's the Crystal Skull of Mass Effect.
Oh no,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
All right.
Kanakis asks,
No, stop it, guys. Let's move on. And I had to say guys again because I don't know what else to call you. Hey, boys, fellas, fellow podcast people. What games did you buy? Anything?
I don't think about it.
Stefan? Nope.
Mm-mm.
Tyler?
Well, all right, let's start with my computer stuff, guys. Torchlight, Stalker, and Company of Heroes. Anyone for any of those. They're small box PC games, man. You guys do not care. I can already sense it from here. Karateka on Apple II.
Ooh, hot.
Made by the guy who made Prince of Persia. He makes games that look really cool and aren't fun to play. Olympic Decathlon on Apple II, one of the earliest Microsoft games and one of the earliest boxed games ever. Paid $100 for Olympic Decathlon. Only bidder. What a surprise.
Should be your worst purchase for this year.
I honestly could have brought it up. It's in a little bit worse shape than I thought it was. The one interesting thing I bought I bought the UAE version of Wii Sports. Points to anyone who knows why I bought that.
The UAE version of esports?
Of Wii Sports.
Of Wii Sports. Is it because technically it released first?
Good guess. No, so shout out to my boys in the SAC Discord for pointing this one out to me. So the UAE versions of modern games, maybe just Nintendo games, for whatever reason, there's just like tons of new old stock out there.
Yeah,
they must be cheaper in those territories.
That's the United
Arab Emirates.
Yes, thank you.
And I think they're sold in other countries too, like Malaysia and Singapore.
Yeah, and they look just like US copies.
But they have like this little like green, gray, and blue badge. There's like a little circle that's like, this is the shitty version of the game that you don't want.
Yeah, like on all the Zeldas, you see it, like, you're like, oh, look at this cheap Zelda, and you're not getting a US copy.
Yeah. So, the UAE version of Wii Sports comes in a DVD case that is white. So it's a full-size DVD case of Wii Sports that's not the stupid Nintendo Selects one. And someone pointed that out, and I'm like, yeah, I want one of those. So I went and bought one of those.
You know, I might have one of those just on accident. Either that or I had one made so I could put my Wii Sports in there.
Yeah, right? Well, now
I hate that.
Got the official cheap version of Wii Sports.
I know I did that with, what is it, Link's Shooting Range or whatever? The arrow game that came with.
Johnny. You know, so, you know what I've never done? I just realized the most me thing to do would be sensibly to look up what the Japanese version looks like and buy that. Japanese version, also totally just like a regular white DVD case. Did not buy that version.
That's weird.
So I'm just an idiot. I'm going to go buy a Japanese one.
A Japanese version right now?
Not right now, because I'm going to have to figure out how to say that in Japanese so I can go get it from Yahoo. I'm not going to spend $20 on eBay. If it's $20 on eBay, that means it's like $1 in Japan.
All right. Stefan, you've had time to think about it. Did you buy any new games or anything?
No, not since Guardians. I think that was the last thing I bought.
Okay. Well, I don't think you were on the show last time you talked about Guardians, were you?
No, I don't remember.
So you bought Guardians of the Galaxy. That's cool.
Oh, I heard that's one of the best games that came out this year.
It is. I would say that. Sure.
Collector's Quest Game of the Year. Guardians of the Galaxy. Because I don't think we can give it to
only
remakes.
One of us have played.
It's going to be Metroid. Tyler and I are going to get there, and the real answer for this year is going to be Metroid. Come on, Tyler. Tyler's actually probably going to hate it because he's such an elitist.
I hear it's hard. I like challenging games.
I think I have trouble getting over my own bullshit when it comes to that game, like, because I love Super Metroid so much that, like, every time
you get in the way of yourself all the time. It's ridiculous. You're like, I hate Breath of the Wild because I like Horizon, which makes no goddamn sense.
Well, no, I hate Breath of the Wild because it's not a good game.
How could you be more wrong about a thing? How, like...
Johnny, you just wait. Breath of the Wild 2 is going to come out, and everyone's going to start dumping on Breath of the Wild and be like, oh, it had all these problems and no one cared about it.
Sure,
Breath of the Wild 2 is the only good game now.
all that bullshit, then fine.
No, it doesn't have bullshit. It has layers of complexity that you have to adjust to.
Is Stefan one of the people who hated that your sword breaks sometimes?
Yes.
Oh, what a fucking pussy.
Racist
plain language.
Yeah,
plain language. What Tyler meant to say is, no, pussy, I think is fine. I think, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to go with it. That's rough, but yeah.
All right.
Get over it, crybaby. Go play it. Yeah, not that vaginas are actually technically a weak structure. They go through a lot of abuse. So equating them to weakness is a little weird.
Too.
Oh, yeah, you are just like a vagina.
That's right.
Is that what you wanted us to say? Stefan literally just came into this conversation and went, yeah, like me, I need to be equated to a vagina all of a sudden. And I don't know why that happened.
You're right. Maybe the show does need to end and it can't just be another hour of questions.
Now Tyler does have to edit the show.
I'll let Tyler be the arbiter of whether that gets edited out. It could and probably should. But here we are. Anyways, guys, I'll tell you what I bought. It's not more interesting than what Tyler bought, unfortunately. This hasn't come yet, but I'm gonna say it's coming and it's gonna get here. I bought Crystal Castles. Hey, remember when I talked about that an episode or so ago? Hey, I did. I finally found a copy that was like acceptable. Got that coming. I bought a copy of Defender, which I know, like I'm talking about 2 Atari games, and people are very confused right now. They're like, why is he doing this? So let me bring you back to reality with me buying another copy of, hey, if you remember earlier in the show when I talked about Fantastic Four, yeah, I bought a Wii copy of it because it was a comic variant. Then I didn't. I thought I had it. I didn't. So yeah, I bought that. That felt bad. And, yeah, that's it for games. Oh no, I have a shameful purchase. So,
your
Lego
Atari
Harry
games didn't
Potter.
count? Okay.
No, Defender has sweet art, and Defender was a childhood game, so not at all. Like, are you gonna tell me the box art for Defender isn't sweet?
It's one of those games where I only associate, like, I see it and I just immediately associate it with being like a bulk game, so it's hard for me to like see the box art for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, but that doesn't matter. I'm not buying it because I'm like, oh, I got to get all the Atari games.
I know. But come on, there are games like that. I can't think of another. Oh,
absolutely. There's a lot. Like Combat is one. Yar's Revenge. Like there's just a lot of like bulky Atari games. Anyways, I bought this stupid Lego Harry Potter 1 through 4 for the DS. It's the collector's edition because it was a nicer box than the 2 boxes I already have. So I was like, oh, I'm going to upgrade that. And it was also like $12, so it wasn't like an extreme purchase or anything. But yeah, some other things I bought. These are non-video games, so sorry guys if you care about that. If you remember, I talked about some stupid Hot Wheel that I cried about at my 5th birthday party. I went through the pangs of fire. I'm like, why haven't I bought this yet? So I did finally go buy that, and I bought. Talking about books some more. Interview with the Vampire. And this will go for your shameful purchases. Anne Rice died, guys. Did you know that? Anne Rice is no longer with us. So I was like, I've been meaning to get the first print of Interview with the Vampire. It's not a signed copy. I didn't do that.
I was about to ask.
It's not signed. I was just like, if I want the first print of this, I better go ahead and do it now. Literally, she died, and my wife was like, you should go to the computer now. It was like 1 a.m. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So, yeah, that's like another thing I bought.
Guys, start doing that when these people are like 65. Just like get ahead of the curve here. Come on. Don't wait until Alex Trebek has cancer to buy his autograph.
Yeah, I have like most of her books already, and I already have a copy of Interview with a Vampire of like a weird collection set. But my wife and I like have our list of like, oh yeah, these are our favorite books. We should have first prints of these. And, Interview with the Vampire was a book like I loved when I was like 14. I was like, yeah, this book is great.
Good book.
Yeah, I enjoy it, and I like the movie, and I thought I was going to hate the movie, but I wound up liking it. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I should go do that. And it was just like on a list I made, and I was buying other stuff. So I wasn't like really thinking about that. Then I found out she died. I was like, oh shit. Also, it's sad that Anne Rice died. Because I read a lot of her books. A lot of the vampire books later in the Vampire Chronicles get a little meh. Don't love them. But Interview with the Vampire, super good.
She did a one-off called Vittorio the Vampire that I liked very much.
Yeah, that was Vittorio. What was that, like 2000? She did 98.
I think
maybe?
so. Yeah, it was the one where like he was super religious.
Yeah,
that was the deal.
And it was like weird because it was like a small book. Like it came in a like weird small book format.
Yeah.
That's the thing I actually dislike about a bunch of her books. They're not like, oh, this is the series and they're all printed in this size. You just get some weird sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She also did a one-off called Servant of the Bones, which was like a ghost story that I liked.
Just to say it, the last video game purchase that I did make was October the 6th when I bought The Zombie vs. Ambulance.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. And now I've been like thinking about it, and I haven't looked yet. But I'm like, are there any Interview with the Vampire or Vampire Chronicle games? Should I be buying those? That was a thing I thought I had, and I haven't followed up on that.
Okay, so I saw Interview with a Vampire a super long time ago. I don't remember the full movie, but how the fuck would you make that a video game?
How do you make anything a video game?
I don't know.
Like,
You turn it into a shitty 16-bit platformer.
Tyler?
Yes.
I have made 7 Hannah Montana games. So you can make
you know what?
anything out of it.
I bet you can get that Interview with a Vampire IP for pretty cheap. It's not super relevant right now.
Except that there's a whole new series coming out. That's the other thing. There's like
is there?
Like a TV series coming out, so it's gonna get
Maybe
if
we'll
it's
get
any
a mobile
good.
game.
Yeah.
Also,
like I keep meaning to go buy a what's it called? Hitchhiker's Guide is another like a computer game I need to go buy, and a first print of that book.
Also, Tyler, any IP that a studio owns will not be cheap as soon as you tell them that you want it. That's how that works. Oh. It's like little kids who like don't play with their toys until another little kid wants to play with their toy, and then it's their favorite toy.
That makes sense.
It's very similar to that. That actually, funny enough, they were talking about that in the like Q&A section of the MST3K show last night, where they were talking about having to like license these like old shitty movies from major IP holders that just through various buyouts over the years happened to own the rights to like some shitty movie that they didn't even know that they owned, and then the MST3K folks come knocking and they're like, yeah, you need to give us $100,000. There's no cheap IPs that are already owned by studios.
That damn capitalism.
Rake you over the coals.
At it again, Stefan. Yep. I hate it. We need to something the means of production. Johnny.
Yep.
Can you go get your copy of Crystal Castles?
No, I just said it is not here yet.
Oh, what the? Can we go look at the eBay listing?
Picture? Yeah. What do you?
All right. Can we go to the back?
Sure. You want to know if it's an 87 or an 88?
About to hit 3 hours.
I don't know. Can we go look at that copyright line at the bottom?
Yep, I see it.
What does that say there?
This one says... Oh, weird. I got the 88. I thought I bought an 87. 88 Atari Corp, so it's not the first print. All rights reserved, made in Hong Kong, printed in Hong Kong, Video Arcade and Video Arcade, if are trademarks of Sears, Roebuck & Co. Designer by Pete C. Nitty.
Johnny, it looks like you're about to buy another copy of Crystal Castles so you can get that first print.
Yeah, I know. I thought I bought the 87, but I did not.
Johnny, this game came out in 1984.
Did
you
it?
get that made in USA.
Oh, I was like, I'm glad you said it came out in 84 because I was really conflicted. I was like, because I remember picking this game as a kid. I was like, really 1988? Or 87? I'm like, that's weird. I felt like I was much younger because that's like the Nintendo was already out. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I'm like, man.
But I mean, they were still printing them, I guess, in 1988.
Yeah.
So people were buying them. Atari had legs.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny because I like mainly saw 87s. And now you tell me that there's an 84 and I know there's 88. So yeah, it was still going.
So wait, what is this? Is a rare variant, Johnny? Did you not see this? Do I need to go look for a first print Crystal Castles and get Johnny's childhood box art staring me in the face?
Yep. The 88 version has a dumbass yellow badge on it.
That sounds pretty dumbass. Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, that's the 86 version. I think has the badge. Yeah. Anyways.
Whatever. No, it's an 88 version. I have a sealed copy of this, but I'm positive it's not the first print because I'm sure I got it for $10. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about
super compelling content.
Fuck off, Stefan.
All right. Is that it for the show?
We're gonna end it.
We're gonna end our year in review with "fuck off, Stefan."
Speaking of things you can use for ringtones.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to end it, especially when we ended that one with calling Tyler an asshole. So yeah, that's it. You want to deliver it one more time?
I'm good.
All right, guys, where are we finding you? Oh, I said it again. I say it every episode.
Just Google Art of Nintendo Power. I'll be the first thing that comes up. But I'm on the Twitters. That's probably the best way to actually talk to me if you want to talk to me. And I'm on Instagram, and I am on the YouTubes.
All right.
Ta-da.
Tyler?
All right, guys. I'm Default Gen, Default GEN. I'm all the places except for Video Game Sage because the website doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, and the alternate that they had made also doesn't work.
Wait,
so.
Video Game Sages stopped working?
Yeah, at least last time I checked.
No, it's working.
Oh.
Anyway, like DNS, Amazon, Google DNS took down Video Game Sage. It's been down for multiple days. It's kind of funny. I don't know, because Google sucks.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Everything's lost. Everything's gone. And everything's dead.
That's right.
Merry Christmas. Okay. I'm Johnny. You can find me on Instagram at Johnny_Iucci. Video Game Sage at Johnny if it ever exists again. Hopefully I don't have to create an account for a new website. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. And our Patreon, which I already mentioned, so I'm not going into that again. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Hope your new year is great. Hope you had a nice Christmas and everything. And, I hope the future looks bright. Let's move on to the new year with this. Bye!
That is our show. Guys, it took me a real long time to edit this because I have been enjoying the holidays not being on the internet. Let me tell you, it has been wonderful. Errata for the show. The best game I played this year is actually Undertale, which I just played through 3 times. I'll talk about it next episode, though. Thank you to 8-Bit, A-P-E-Bit, 8bit.bandcamp.com. He does our intro music. And thank you to all the patrons. You guys have been here all year. I don't even, do we even have a Patreon for the entire year? I have no idea. It's crazy how many patrons we have. I seriously, thank you guys so much. Super crazy. We just wanted to cover hosting costs and some equipment costs. And now we end up talking for an hour just to get more content out there for the patrons after every other show. So thank you. Richard Patron number 1, Bowden. Canadian Variant Alert, Chris Glidden, Nintendo World Champion, Daniel Jacksvik, High-End Collector, Andrew Brim, 50 Hertz is good enough for me, Andre, Ben Parker, a bad enough dude to rescue the president, Video Games Were Meant to Be Slab, Brandon Ackley, Brian Gupta, and Pocky and Rocky with Becky, Mint Condition, Brian J. Mora, The Strictly Limited Super Rare, Bruno, Fat Cat Collector, Chris Jackson, Chris SNK, Too Many NES Accessories, Morozek, Johnny's GBA Hookup, Coffee with Mr. Saturn, Playing with Power, Connor Strange, The Last Game You Need for the Set, Corey O'Brien, Unpunched Hang Tab, Dustin Beagle, He Has Returned to Judge This City, Eric Addison, Man of Nintendo in the World of Nintendo, Funky Brewster, The Actual Shinobi, Jasonic the Kid, Jeff the Game Boy Ferris, Red Pyramid Thing, Jonathan Shados, The Nintendo Tape Archivist, Joseph Leo, Lance Lord Hardstyle Z, The Degenerate Matt Fall, Mr. CIB, Get Your Loose Genesis carts out of here, Funkoland Employee, Platform Agnostic, Red the Game Shark, Happy New Year, The Famicom Box, Retro Game Enthusiast, They Can Be Ghosts and Goblins Twice, Chefish, Video Game Connoisseur who knows they're better than modern games, The Fuzzy, Sean, The Gamer Collective, The New Craft who can beat Mega Man without the pause trick, Previously Unknown Variant, Tim Walker, From the Internet, Todd Fisher, Can't Put Limits on Collecting, VG Collectaholic, The Millennium, Will Joe, Keeper of the Zelda Variant, 0x Def Code, getting the full PS2 set because Stefan still won't, all caps! What a 9.88++, Benji, the actually rare Bird Dog Gaming, Brandon Rogers, whose favorite episode is the wrestling episode, dropping the Mario 64 Penguin off the map, Brandon Chacker, still finding deals in 2022, Colton Murphy, I'm gonna update that one. I mean, I assume you're still finding deals. A winner is him, David Green, Derek Lauer, who made me edit this show, didn't do a good job this week, did he? Don Livy, the hero of time, actually understands the Zelda timeline. Jeff Pierce, he is Error. Jeff Russell, Jeremy Jarvis, here for the Pog Talk. Joe actually plays his games champ Pity, video game art collector because video games are art. Justin Chichio, Lateral Movement, who's got a Donkey Kong kill screen coming up. Michael, post in the Discord right now, Chiaramonte. Nick the Video Game Database Morgan, Homebrew Mastermind Divertov, the other guy who collects Korean releases, Peaceful Games, Dungeon Master Reed Stubenik, The Promoter, Retro RPG Podcast. Tom, Obscure Variant Chaser Chase. Zaventorian, he knows all 97 Nintendo games. 32 bits or less, do the math! Andrew, Actually Collecting N-Gage O. Default Gen, Jen, and B Nugs! Chesno, all your base are belong to him. Colby, he is Sinistar. Corhagen does what Nintendo don't. Daniel McArdle, who thought this was the Retronauts Patreon. The Modern Database, Danny Gomez. The Philatelist, Dork Overlord. My childhood PlayStation idol, Game-Rave.com. Joseph Rogers got 50,000 on Double Dragon. I haven't seen The Wizard in years. I don't even know if I'm doing that, intonation correctly, but it was something like that. Collector of everything, including Atari, Kalen McAteer, Sam, Sega Mark III Marks, and Sean the Video Game Illuminati LaCroix. Thank you guys so much.